Live from beautiful downtown Bastrop, it's time for the Stage Select, starring Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
What could this possibly be? Seems a lot like a podcast. Wonder what specifically. Talking about video games. With your hosts, you're in good hands. Not more of the same. Now we'll jump right in. So expect the unexpected and more. Now we'll get grooving. There ain't always gonna walk through the door. There just might be some strategy in this. Just having fun with our special guest. Time for Stage Select.
And here are your hosts, Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
Welcome, one and all, to the Stage Select. I'm Julian Titus.
And I'm Justin Ham. That was a very fast transition to this episode, but here we are. We're
Intentional.
doing it. Yeah, I know. I could tell that was your goal to do that, and you did it. You sure did do it.
You never know what you're going to get on the Stage Select, and that includes the host.
Apparently I don't either. So what do you know? That's fine. Good.
Justin Ham is rattled.
I'm fine. I'm good.
No, yeah, it's good.
Yeah. No, this is fine.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
Not much.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering. I'm like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
So yeah.
No. Yeah, I guess I literally don't have much. I guess I'll jump right into
Go
it.
for it, man. Why not?
Because we do have one thing, like just like topic wise that we can talk about.
Yeah.
We might get some time out of that.
I think that might go a little longer. Hopefully,
Yeah,
God,
I've
I
definitely
pray.
got stuff to say.
That's good. I do too.
On that
I
stuff.
think.
Yeah, but as far as like what I've been up to, like since the last recording, it's really not been much.
Yeah,
I'm
me
not gonna
neither.
lie.
I've been up to the same shit. So yeah,
Dude, my internet went out on Monday at like 3:00,
Ooh.
and it was like one of those things where I'm like, and I'm actually a little annoyed at this because I texted my boss as soon as it happened. I was like, hey, my internet's out. I'm waiting to see, what's going on.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm sitting here at my desk, at my work desk.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, and I reset my modem. I reset my my network switch.
Yeah.
I did everything that I could. I did it a couple times actually, and then I'm waiting and I'm kind of monitoring everything. But they ended up like having like they took it out as like vacation time, and I'm like, if I had known that was going to happen, I would have just fucked off for the rest of the day.
Right.
But I was like here at my desk, like waiting to get like I was like as soon as the internet's back up, I'm off to the races again. I got shit to do today.
Right.
It was still out when I went to bed.
Yeah.
And like that evening was fucking miserable, dude.
Oh, I know.
Cause like, well, here's the thing, right? So I was like, okay. And I'll talk about this in a second, but I had recently jumped back into Persona 3 because I had fallen off of my like monthly playthrough.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh wait, that's a Game Pass game, so I can't play that. And then I was like, well, even if I could play it while being offline, I'm using a guide with it, so I can't access the guide anyway. So that's out. And then because there had also been like a PSN outage like over the weekend before.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't affect me, but because actually it didn't affect me. Like I was fine. Like I tried to log it. I logged into Final Fantasy 14 in the middle of the day. I got
you
on
were
just
okay
fine.
Then. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. But I'd heard enough like people online like talking about like, oh, I can't even play these single player games, blah blah blah. And so I got into my head that like I probably couldn't even play like what I'd been playing, which was Banishers.
Yeah.
So, and I guess I could have, but I was like, well, okay, if I'm offline, then I can't play the PS5 either. And so then I was like, I guess I'll watch something. I shit you not, Justin. I stood in front of my movie shelves for 10 uninterrupted minutes.
Okay.
Unable to decide on something to watch. And I literally said out loud, what is wrong with me?
Well,
like just could not figure out what to do. I ended up like popping in the first disc of home movies and watching the whole first disc of
you
home
can't
movies.
go wrong with that. That's good.
You can't.
No, you really can't. That's a good one.
It's a classic. But
it is.
But it was just like this weird, and it was like, man, like when the bad times come, and they're coming soon, like I'm gonna be one of the first ones to go.
Well, it'll happen. Whatever happens, I guess. I have noticed that about like better internet, like the fiber internet, that when it goes down, it goes fucking down. Because we've had that happen a couple times now. Like we've had it where I live for a couple years now, I think years. And when the one time it went down for like 2 days. It was just out, just done. Yeah. And the thing about it, the reason it was out for so long was it went out, but then they didn't know it went out where we were, and we didn't call them because we assumed they knew.
I didn't call anybody. Right. The only thing that I did is I have some friends who live really close to me. Yeah. And so I just texted and I was like, hey, are you guys down? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. It was like that here, but they didn't know our side because it was like fairly new at the time when it happened. And so they didn't know our side of the city went down. So they were like, okay, well, all right, we didn't know that was down, so we'll have to send somebody out there. And then they fixed it like the next morning and it was fine. Actually, it's funny. The last time it went down was a couple weeks ago, actually, and just randomly out of nowhere, just fucking out, done. And it was down for like, I would say a full day. Yeah, full day and a half. And I'm in the same boat usually when that happens. Is I'm like, oh well, what the fuck am I gonna do now? This is gonna be boring. But my workaround is that my mobile internet still worked. So I could watch.
I don't have that.
Yeah, so I could watch stuff on my phone and all that stuff. So that's how I got around it. In fact, at the time, I was modding Skyrim, and I was like, it'd be really fun if I could actually do that, because I don't need the fucking internet to play the game. That doesn't matter. How can I add mods? Oh, you know what I can do? I'll download them on my phone and then upload them to my PC, and I did that for a full day. And it was I shaped Whiterun that day with shit I downloaded on my phone and put on my PC like an insane person.
Dedicated to the craft.
Oh yeah, it was fun. It entertained me. It was something to do, Yeah, I had to do it somehow. But yeah, that's usually my workaround is, and that goes back to when I lived in Utah. I never had like actual internet. I just had phone internet. So I would do everything on there. I could download fucking torrented shit on my phone. That's how fucking deep I would go. I knew how to, like, there was some phone app that you could download. I doubt it's there anymore, but it would let me watch it just had entire animes on it. I don't know the legality of it, but it was there. Yeah. And so I would get bored and I'd be like, all right, let's go find some weird anime and watch it. I watched that's how I found Steins Gate and the anime. I watched the one that I'm still trying to find. It's called Bakano. It is really cool, but I may be just misremembering it. But it was great. Just stuff like that. Because what else was I gonna do? I worked night shift at a fucking Krispy Kreme, man. I was bored. Yeah. So yeah,
man. This is the week for tangents because we don't got much else. So I think I've told you, but I don't think I've mentioned on this show, so it'll be new for listeners. But like the way that I got into anime, like it's one of the only things that I'm a hipster about, because like I was into anime like long before like it actually was a thing like in the States, right? Simply because here in Austin, we had a cable access channel. Yeah. And there was a show called Anime Connection that I think it was like Friday nights. And it was like late on Friday night. It was like, 11 or something like that. They would play, it was an hour-long block. And the first half hour, they played 30 minutes of an anime movie. Right. Which was almost always a Studio Ghibli thing. Okay. And so that's how I watched like Porco Rosso, Castle in the Sky, Kiki's Delivery Service, right, Nazca. There were some other ones that weren't Ghibli, but it was a lot of Ghibli stuff. And then the second half hour was well, when I first started watching it, it was Legend of the Heavenly Sphere Shirato, which was a completely untranslated anime.
Great.
There was no subtitles to it at all. The only thing that they had was that before each episode there was like this real, and this is cable access, so you can imagine the quality of it.
Oh yeah.
But it was just this like text scroll of like a recap of the last episode. So that's how I learned like
that's amazing. That's old VHS editing. That's just great. When I did broadcast shit in high school, they showed us how to do all that. And it's basically like it's almost like kind of like a computer thing, but it just like kind of records it. Like you just press play and it records on a video, and then you tape that tape airs or whatever. Yeah, I guarantee it was not great quality. Oh man, yeah.
Oh no, yeah, you can imagine like what it looked like,
I know the exact look, man.
Yes.
I'm picturing the font and everything. Like it's
And that's how, I would start to learn the names, because then I started to pick out the names when they would say it to each other in Japanese and stuff. And I mean, it's a very like by the numbers. It's like dudes with mystical armor, like, but it's cool because they ride them like air sleds, and they're all like animal based, and then they transform, and they're in like full armor and stuff like that. It's a really cool anime. To my knowledge, it's never been translated.
Yeah.
And released over here. But then also that same channel or that same show is where I watched something called Vilgust, which is only an hour-long OAV that was based on a Super Famicom RPG.
Great.
And I fucking loved it. It was like, because like in the RPG, they were all super deformed.
Okay.
And they kept that look for the anime. So it's this like really cool fantasy anime, but like all the characters have like kind of SD proportions, which is really neat. And then there was like a show called Here Comes Greenwood, I think, which actually that did get translated.
Here Comes Greenwood. Here they come. That one? No, here they come.
It's a slice of life anime that takes place, I think, in a college. Like it's an all boys college. But then there's a girl who enrolls.
That sounds like a thing, yeah.
And so they're trying to keep her a secret. But then, like, one of the characters walks in and sees her at the urinal, like, taking a piss. And then you realize, oh, it's just a cross-dresser.
Yeah.
But 90s anime. But it was a really fun like comedy show, and so that was another one that I really liked. But there's all of these shows that I experienced over this time. Video Girl I, which was an OAV series.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it's about a guy who checks out this VHS tape that has a girlfriend on it. So when he plugs the tape in, she comes out of the TV.
I know where I heard of that one. That is what inspired part of 13 Sentinels. The guy who wrote it wrote an article about the things that inspired certain parts of it, and you can if you played that game, you know exactly what part it is. Like that was part of the inspiration for it, though. Yes,
I see. He's a man of culture too.
Absolutely, apparently so. Yeah.
But that's another one that I really loved, and it's like all of these like weird, like obscure anime that like most of them have never gotten actually officially released in the States, and like I would fucking love to have all of those, like on my shelf, but like, yeah,
they probably will never put those out.
Yeah. The only people who know about them are people, who were like in Austin in like 1991 who were watching cable access on a Friday night.
You might be able to find them somewhere weird on like YouTube or Archive or some shit like that. It might be somewhere.
Yeah, because I know the names of most of the, because I can easily look up Shirato, and like you can find like, I think there's entire episodes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'm
but,
sure.
But I want something that's like
you want the actual
legit
thing,
yeah.
I get it.
But as far as gaming stuff, like I think I've decided that I'm shelving Banishers for the foreseeable future. Not that I don't enjoy it. I would like to see it through to the end.
Yeah.
I find the story very interesting. It's just not doing it for me right now. I think it's just a time and place type thing.
Could be.
Like I think that like
Welcome to me all of last year with almost everything, where I was just like, this just is not doing it for me, and I don't know why, but here we are.
Like I'm enjoying it,
Yeah.
but it's like I'm playing it in like very small sessions, and that's not a game that you're going to get anywhere
Yeah.
if you're only playing in small sessions.
I imagine.
Like I haven't had that moment where I'm like, oh, I just sat down and played that for like 3 hours straight. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's like like half an hour here, that type of thing.
Right.
And also, and we'll get into it a little bit later, but like, I think we have, as of next week, we are now, I think, where if we want to be up on stuff, you know, for the podcast and also for like Game of the Year consideration, stuff like that, we're pretty much booked from like next week on.
It's possible. Yeah.
Between like the stuff that's coming out for PlayStation, the stuff that Xbox has announced, I wouldn't be surprised if you end up getting a Switch 2 just because you'll be like, fuck it, whatever.
It depends. It depends on what comes out for it.
Yeah. But even so, like even taking that out of the equation,
Yeah.
like, there's still a shit ton of stuff.
There's a lot.
Just like
There's a
every
lot.
month there's at least like one like I want to see that type
sure.
game, at least for me.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I've gone back to is Persona 3 Reload.
Yeah.
You know, if people remember last year, I was trying to play it month to month in like quote unquote real time along with like the calendar of the game.
Yeah.
But I had fallen off right at the end of October, and I just ended up like, I think because I was starting to like, well, we're getting close to Game of the Year. I need to really like buckle down and start playing stuff. So I kind of let it slip. And then I was like, no, I really want to finish that because also I want to start Persona 4 Golden. And I looked up, okay, when does Persona 4 start? And it starts in April. So I've got until April
well, there you
to
go.
finish Persona 3. And so I've gotten all the way through October now.
Oh, there you go.
And that was a bit because like the very end of October, I had like a Tartarus run, and it was actually a lot of floors to go through.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I definitely feel that Persona 5 Royal, well, and also Persona 5 Vanilla, definitely made me a Persona fan.
Yeah.
And also very interested in Atlas as a RPG develop. Well, specifically like, you know, I guess Team Zero now that they're called, right? But it should be noted, I only liked Metaphor.
Yeah.
I've seen people talking about it's like the greatest RPG of all time, one of the greatest games ever made, and I'm like, yeah, no, I think it's really good.
Yeah.
Like, but that's about it. And then Persona 3 like has left me pretty cold.
Yeah. Persona 3 is a tough one for me, because I've never finished it. I think I always thought it was fine, but I always thought a lot of the I put it like this: it was really cool at the time it was made because like all that like social link stuff was really different, compared to like, you know, a lot of the other stuff that was out at that time.
Yeah, including Persona 1 and 2,
and
because I understand they didn't have that.
Yeah, and the setting was different, and like it had a lot going for it, and that carried it for me. But like I never finished it because I remember I rented it. It was in the area I lived. It was very hard to find. I had to like I don't know if I still do. I'm pretty sure I don't, but I had to like special order it. I remember from like a local game store here. Like I had to go in there and be like, I need you to find me a copy of this. And they did it for me. And I remember it was like $80, which for a PlayStation 2 game is like a lot.
Yeah. Especially like new.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It wasn't, it had been out for a while, but like they came out with like like the ultimate I can't remember what that version's called.
Yeah, there's been so many.
It was the good one on PlayStation 2. Whatever.
Yeah, weren't there 3 on PlayStation 2?
There wasn't
there like, because there's Fez.
It was Fez. That's the one I'm trying to think of. Yeah.
But wasn't there like another one, and then there was the PSP version also? Like, aren't there
was Portable? Yeah, Portable was the PSP one.
I thought there was like another one
too.
I could be wrong.
I can't remember. I think it was just 2 on PlayStation 2 though.
Okay.
I could be way off on this.
Yeah.
But,
I know that it came out like after Game Fellas closed.
Yeah.
So that's why it's not like
right
in my head.
Yeah, and I, like I said, I had to special order Fez, I remember, and it was like $80 because they had to like they had to do some weird shit just to get a hold of a copy of it for me, but they did
makes
it,
sense.
and I was like, cool, this is great. And I spent like, I don't know, a good quarter of my paycheck or whatever on that fucking thing. But anyway, but other than that, like a lot of the sameness within Tartarus and stuff like that always kind of like turned me off of it over time, you know, like even when I've tried to go back, because I've tried to go back a few times with like a portable and stuff like that, and it just kind of never sticks with me.
And it's not surprisingly, it's not even that. Like I'm fine with the Tartarus stuff because I actually, you know, and actually this might actually be a difference of time because back when you got it, turn-based RPGs were still a dime a dozen.
Oh yeah.
So it was like, oh, I've done this so many times, right? But now it feels like a lot fresher and more unique because there aren't as many of them that come out, or at least I don't play as many as I used to. And I really do enjoy the combat of it and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that part. For me, it's actually I'm really not digging the story. I only have 3 months left, and I feel like I'm still waiting for something to happen. And I'm like, oh, so I guess nothing's really going to happen. Like this is just this is the mission, and it's not even really like I really liked it's unfair to compare it to 5 for a lot of reasons, but like, you know, the Phantom Thieves had like a mission. Yeah. Right. And it was cool that they had a mission. And here it's like everybody's kind of like, well, we have these powers and I guess we should do something with it.
Yeah.
And, well, it seems like there's this tower.
We got to figure out what's
that.
going on with this, and we got to figure out why the midnight or the missing hour is happening or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that element of it, and then, you know, the fact that like there hasn't really been like a villain established, other than, you know, you have like these other Persona users that are definitely like the quote unquote bad guys.
Yeah.
But like you haven't really done anything with them other than have like a couple conversations with them.
Right.
And then the party members themselves, like I don't love any of them.
Yeah.
Like I think they're all just fine, but like I'm
Most
not like
of them are
excited
just fine. Yeah.
And even the other social links, like, you know, my first time playing Persona 5, I was like, I am all about Tai Takemi. Like, I cannot wait to go talk to Tai Takemi again. And then, you know, the second time around, I was like, I am all about Kawakami. Like, I can't wait to talk to Kawakami again.
Yeah.
But even beyond that, like, you know, I loved Ryuji, and like, I really liked most of the party, but then also like a lot of the social links outside of there, I really liked their stories.
Yeah.
Here, I'm like, yeah, you know, no, nothing. I really like the elderly couple that runs the bookstore. They're probably one of my favorites.
Them, yeah.
I liked the little girl at the playground, but I've already completed her social link, so she's gone.
So she's gone, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just been kind of like, yeah, it's
like
it's fine.
It's kind of its time where it's like they were kind of figuring it out and still developing the formula of it. It feels like a game that has like some really great ideas, and then they get fleshed out over 2 more games. Get fleshed out over like 4 is like a market improvement, because like some of the things that you've already like said, like where it's like it doesn't feel like we're really doing anything. Like 4 is definitely like, no, we have to figure out who the fuck is killing these people,
right?
Like it's like immediately like there's clearly a bad guy at play.
Yes.
So that's at least interesting there. But yeah, I don't know, I've never gotten very far into 4. I think I played the intro of 4. And then
as far as I got was just basically like being introduced to where I was going to be staying.
Yeah, I got further than that. I played through like the opening salvo, like the opening dungeon part, and figured out, you know, the Midnight Channel, all that shit. But other than that, I didn't get very far into it. Cause yeah, I think I just started it up when I bought a PlayStation Vita, like whenever the hell that was
the game to get.
Well, yeah. but I got one way late, like way.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, why not? These things are about dead now. Now is the time to buy while they're not making any more games for it.
It's actually funny because back on Nerds Without Pants, Patrick ended up getting me and Angelo to buy Vitas because he was so high on it. And
Yeah.
we both got him pretty late.
Yeah.
But he was talking up such a big game on him.
Yeah.
Or on it, and we were like, okay, yeah, you sold us.
My biggest thing with buying one is I was like, I don't care if they're not making new games for this. I just want to like fill out some of the PlayStation 1 collection because I think that would be neat to have on a portable system. So that's what I bought a lot of that stuff.
Me too.
So that was my thing. I did play through the entirety of Suikoden 1 on it. And then started Suikoden 2, and that was as far as that got. So yeah.
As you're known to do.
As I am wont to do. I'm gonna try to change the course this time when it comes out again, maybe. I don't know.
Well, you have some incentive because the plan is to have James and JJ on to talk a lot of, talk about Suikoden after that collection comes out.
Sure.
So you'll probably want to be,
maybe.
I mean,
we'll see. Or I could just not play it and just save it for a rainy day and have it. I think I bought the physical version of it too, which is good for me. Good job, me.
Yeah, that's rare for you.
No, I've been trying to buy some of that type of stuff when it's certain things that I really like or want. Like I've been trying to do that a little bit more, but not too often.
Yeah,
depends.
I was glad to hear that the Lunar collection is not a limited run affair.
Oh, good.
It's Amazon exclusive, but it's not going to be like a thing where it's like if you snooze you lose. They're going to keep producing them until sales stop.
Oh, well, you know what?
So
I should maybe I should pre-order one of those then. Why not?
Well, you're not going to be able to pre-order it, which is a weird thing.
Oh, you can't? That's weird.
You'd think they'd want that, but no. But once it's available, then yeah, they're just going to keep selling them until it's obvious that like people are no longer buying them, and then they'll stop pressing.
Why not?
So
okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So then what I ended up doing is because I was like, okay, I'm putting Banishers down, and then I was like, but I want something to play, and also this, I think this was actually the night that the internet was down, so I was like, I'm gonna start Dragon Quest 3.
Why not?
the HD 2D remake. And I have not played Dragon Quest 3 before. I was not a Dragon Quest fan growing up.
Okay.
The first one that I really played was 8 because it came with the demo for Final Fantasy 12. But I ended up playing a good chunk of 8, like almost halfway through. And then 9 was really the one that hooked me.
Yeah.
Like 9 came out on the DS and I played the shit out of it. I think I didn't beat it, but I got to the final dungeon at least.
Yeah.
So that's like,
that's something.
That's a lot of, a lot of Dragon Quest 9. And then what ended up happening is I went back and I started playing those DS remakes, and I played through 4, 5, and most of 6. And I eventually want to finish 6, and I also have the 7 remake on 3DS. And one of these days I want to finish 11. I fell off of that one as well. But I've really come to appreciate the series, because the thing for me, was you had like Final Fantasy over here innovating with every game.
Yeah.
And then you had Dragon Quest where it's like, oh, how cute. It's like the same sound effects and it's the same music, and, it's like the gameplay hasn't changed and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But, flash forward to now where it's like that type of stuff is not around nearly as much. And it's like, no, this feels really good. Like this feels comforting. And like, and there is something like just like very like, the same like when you're going upstairs or into like in like through doors, it's like it's the same goddamn sound effect, and the little like sound effects from the spells are all the same and whatnot. And this was like the first game in the series to do their job system, which I also find interesting because Final Fantasy 3 is the first Final Fantasy game to do a job system.
Right.
I don't know which one came out first, but I don't think it's a situation where one was copying the other. It seems like that was like a parallel development thing. Yeah. But I don't really have much to say about it because I've only played it for about an hour, than it's gorgeous. Yeah. Like they did a really excellent job because this one is a Nintendo game. This this was original Nintendo, so it's quite an upgrade. Even though this one has also been remade a few times now. It was on Game Boy Color and Super Famicom and I think one other place. But I plan on playing more of it, but you know, I really do need to buckle down and finish Persona.
Yeah.
Before, because I like having that game in the background,
Right.
like playing it just a chunk at a time. But that's literally it for me, man.
Yeah, well, that's more than what I did. So, I mean, really, I've just been modding Skyrim. Like, there's a bunch of games that are about to come out, and I need to get it done before that. That's pretty much why.
Are you ever done though?
No, not really. That's but that's what makes it fun. Is there's just an infinite, almost nearly. It's finite, but like it feels infinite. It feels like you can just keep doing this forever. But I have kind of gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, it's actually time to like, the only way I'm gonna find certain shit that I either don't like or, you know, want to fix or have to fix or whatever is if I just go around and actually play the game. So I have been like doing a lot of that now. Which has been really kind of nice. Certain bits of what I have going on are really starting to come together, which is great. In a way that I was like, oh, this is actually pretty fun. I've developed some sort of, through a mishmash of shit, some sort of weird like parrying matters type of combat thing going on, and it's actually fucking cool. Like, I don't know how I pulled this off, but it keeps coming up. I'm like, oh, this is actually kind of fun. Like, I'm like, if you parry a guy enough times, like it basically does like the Dark Souls thing where they like collapse and then you can, you know, backstab them or whatever. And like I have like 2 different types of that, and it shouldn't work as well as it does, but it does, and I'm like into it.
And you're not even much of a parry guy.
Oh, but it's fun. It's really, I don't know. There's something about, like, I have 2 different types. Like I can either time the block, which will like send arrows back at people, or I can like hold block in and then press the attack button, which then does a parry on somebody, like kind of like Dark Souls does. And that'll parry them a different way, which is pretty dope. So that's been cool. I've been, what was I working on today? I'm messing with like stats and stuff, which is interesting. I know that doesn't sound interesting, but it is. Cause like, so the way Skyrim leveling up works, Julian, if for those that don't remember, is when you use skills, when, you know, you hit a man with a sword, you level up your one-handed sword or two-handed sword. The more you use the skill, the more it levels up. I have turned all that shit off.
Interesting.
So basically now the game works with this mod called Experience. That's the name of the mod. It's just Experience. And you have to complete quests or discover locations or clear out dungeons, and then you get experience points, which leads to your level.
So more standard.
Yes. And I don't gain skills until I get a level up, and then it gives you a certain number of points which is a different mod called static skill leveling. So that these are things working in tandem. And today I was messing around with like, okay, how do I want to like open? Because I want like the race the Skyrim race that I pick to matter, but I also want to pick like a class and have that matter too. So I can kind of build off of both of them, and I'm trying to find a balance there. And it's kind of, I don't know, I can sit there and just fucking waste days doing this type of shit. It's just so entertaining to me.
Okay, I'm gonna like kind of do a behind the scenes thing for the listeners here. I realized that I could just like send Justin the zip file for A Struggle with Sin.
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm gonna do that so that he can play it, and I don't feel bad about doing it because like I'm like, well, I'll just stay subscribed to the Patreon a little bit longer than I was planning. But also on his Patreon, he says the game will always be free, but there's not a free way to download it anymore
that I can find it. Yeah,
yeah. So I'm like, this seems fine to me. But you saying that, like, now I really want you to check this game out because I love the leveling mechanic because it has both of those.
Yeah.
So as you level, you get skill points to put into, you know, your different stats that will eventually unlock different abilities. But then also you're upgrading, you're constantly like getting experience towards certain stats as you do things. So like every time you go mine ore, it's adding to your strength stat.
Right.
Like if basically it's like, you know, I think you'll get like 1 point or something like that. And once you get like 25, you'll go up like a full point in strength. And then the next threshold is 50. And then it's the same thing with like if you're like working in the field on the garden, like that's your constitution. Like there's all these little things where it's like even as you're just interacting with the day-to-day like life stuff, it's also feeding into your character's stats and he's constantly like getting better. Yeah. And so eventually it's like, oh, like now, like it used to, I used to be able to only like clear like 2 plots of land on this garden before I was spent. And now I can do the whole thing and I still have stamina to spare.
Yeah. Like I do have one mod that adds little jobs that you can do, but really it's like, it's not really much. You just like, you go talk to a man and the man goes, can I help you in this shop? And the man goes, yes, absolutely. And then you help them. And then like time just passes and then you either fail it or you don't. And that's pretty much it. But I like that because the way I always try to build like a mod list is like, okay, I want to start with like fucking nothing. Like I gotta fucking scrape and like I gotta like do shit in town to get money and gear before I can go out because everything outside will fucking murder me. Maybe except these
and yet
wolves.
You've never gotten into a Dragon Quest game.
No, I know. I don't like those for some reason. I cannot get into them. I don't know
but they're similar. Where it's
no,
like
I know.
Yeah.
But for some reason, like, I don't know what it is about those. So it's funny you mentioned Dragon Quest 8. That was the one I played. And really kind of I bounced so hard off of that one. Like I played it for a couple, like, because it got a fair amount of hype back then. I remember.
Yeah, I think because it was like, oh wow, Toriyama's art like translates so well to cell shading, right? But also it was like the first Dragon Quest where you actually got to see your characters during the fights. Right. Yeah, it was a big deal. I remember it coming out and being a big deal, and I bought it like when it came out, and I was like, all right, this is gonna be great. And then I played it, and I was like, I kind of hate this. I don't know what it is about it. I do not like this. And I tried for a while to get into it too. And I just was like, yeah, I'm not clicking with this. And like every single one of them after that, like I've tried for a little bit and I just kind of bounce off of them. I don't know what it is about those games. They are like that. I think it's the turn-based thing in that case. Like, they're very traditional and they don't have a lot of like mechanics behind them.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the difference between like a Skyrim thing and this is Skyrim is like I've turned it into action-based combat type thing, right? So like I can outskill shit if I really want to. But like whereas like the turn-based, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm just dead here. There's no actual winning here.
Right. But I mean, even comparing it to other turn-based stuff that you've gotten into, like, you know, Persona 5 or Baldur's Gate 3, which is a very different type of turn-based, but still, there's a lot of stuff going on under the hood with like things that you can do that make those games a lot more engaging, where, you know, Dragon Quest is very fight magic item.
Yeah. That's, I know. Yeah. I think that's, I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of over it. I admire that series. I think it's nice, but I don't know if any of them are ever going to draw me in. Yeah. And that's just kind of where I am. But anyway, Skyrim modding, that's what I've been doing. It's been a lot of fun. I have it So I didn't get to stream last Saturday. I was laying around and I was like, I feel like I'm getting sick. And because Julian texted me, he was like, "Hey, are you streaming?" And I was like, I'm kind of tired, but like actually the thing was like, yeah, if I talk for longer than 5 minutes, I start coughing. So this is probably not a good idea. I'm just gonna call tonight off, and move on with my life. But I do plan on at least messing around with Skyrim modding on a fucking stream, just because it'll be fun to encounter something completely fucking broken.
Right,
that shit's entertaining. And then hoping no nudity shows up, but you never know. It's a wild card.
Yeah. Well, as I understand it, is Twitch the one where as long as you're not like focusing on it,
not doing anything wild, like it's fine. But
YouTube on the other hand,
so yeah, I could never archive it or whatever. But yeah, like, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure I know how to make sure nothing like that happens. I know at least a little bit of what I'm doing to turn all that stuff off, so it should be fine. But some of the shit I have now it like keeps making me laugh. I have this mod that I can't wait for you to see because it just cracks me the fuck up. It's a mod that like is really cool in idea. It's called Zero Body. Okay. What it does is, okay, there's a mod called Body Slide, which is basically what you put all your armors into, and you can shape them to whatever particular shape of body that you are using at the time. It's a bunch of sliders and bullshit. It's kind of boring in concept, but very useful. So what this mod does is it takes every single preset body thing that you have and distributes it all randomly to characters. And when you put like 2,000 fucking body slides, because you can just download like 1,000 or 2,000 of them at a click of a button, and they start distributing randomly, that shit is funny. Like sometimes you'll just
so is everybody walking around like the lobby of Street Fighter 6?
Sort of. Like every now and then you just encounter a character like, oh, what the hell happened here? That's wild. I go to like the same dungeon every now and then. Whenever I change something combat wise, I'm like, okay, let's go here because I know these fights. Let's see how this is gonna play. And I walked in there and I walked around this corner, and the lady who was there. There's a jail cell. I'll probably, if I do it on stream, I'll run through this dungeon for sure just to show everyone. But there was a girl this time. It's random every time. You never know what bandits are gonna be there. It's all random. But there was a girl, and I looked at her, I was like, oh my god, her boobs are bigger than her head. Like, this is insane. And I just started cracking up. Like, it's just so stupid sometimes, but I love it. Like, I was like,
Stretch Panic for the PlayStation 2, developed by Treasure.
There you go. But yeah, the dumbness of modding is super fun. I got snare traps. You can makes little QTE events happen with traps. There's mimics now that I have not found, which I keep waiting for that to happen. It's hilarious.
I was hoping that they were traps where you are forced to play a snare drum.
No, that'd be great.
For like a hot
really
solo.
Good. That'd be really good. They should implement that immediately. But the fun ones that I've been messing with this time that I've never played with before are actually the like fan made NPC mods. They're not followers. There are really like good follower mods that'll, you know, walk around and say shit and have a story and a quest and shit. But there's one's called Citizens of Tamriel. One is called what's it called? Interesting NPCs, something like that. And I've never messed with them. They were like very, very popular for a long time. I mean, like, you know, old Skyrim before special edition and all this stuff, and people ported them over and stuff like that. And now I'm just kind of messing with them now, and I'm like, wow, these are really actually quite good. Like, because you're like, I'm like having conversation. I'm like, this is like, these motherfuckers tried. Like, they did some shit. It's really cool. Like I've like actually been like, like every time I'm like, I don't remember this guy. Who's this guy? And I'll talk. I'm like, oh, okay, you're from this. Okay, got it. And then I'm like, oh, this is actually really cool what you did here. Stuff like that. So I'm looking to add more shit like that and stuff that I usually don't mess with. I usually don't try to like add quests and stuff, but this time I'm kind of like, I don't want to add a quest, but I want to add like expansions to shit. Like I added this like Bard College expansion, which sounds boring as shit, but the Bard's College is one fucking quest. That's it. That's all it is. You go there and they're like, hey, how about you go track down this legendary thing? And you're like, that really off the bat? Just starting off. Just go track down this legendary. Okay, sure. I'll go do it. But now it's like, hey, what if we taught you how to be a bard? And I'm like, this is kind of nice, actually. This is kind of cool. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff I've been spending my time on. And then trying to fix frame rates, which is an impossible task sometimes. See, it's funny. The problem with the thing people overlook in game development is how much time probably goes into optimizing all of the textures in those fucking games to make them not only look good, but actually perform at 60 frames per second. Because when you put modded textures in Skyrim, it's an old game, right? But like, they don't compress any of that shit. So like you put it like just a 2K texture in there, like it's not even 4K. And like suddenly it's like, oh, that made a really big difference and now I'm getting like 10 frames a second less. Or that's a whole thing.
Yeah, like I don't know how much of this has been implemented so far on the PS5, but I remember one of the coolest things Mark Cerny talking about before the system came out was the way that like the system basically like can load so fast that they don't need to leave anything not in your field of view in memory. So like basically like the world kind of doesn't exist behind you, but then when you turn it does. And
Skyrim's trick is LODs, and it was a lot of older games trick was the basically
level
like
detail.
pre-made stuff in the background, but like as you get closer to it it'll look better or whatever. You can notice it a lot, especially in a modded game, when far away it's like that's not what that's supposed to look like, and then as you get a little bit closer it slowly like kind of pops into frame and you're like, oh yeah okay, there it is. It's an old thing.
I mean, what was it, Unreal Engine 3 back on like the 360 and PS3 was notorious for
popping.
Mass Effect 1, right? Like there's a certain cutscenes where it's like notorious, where it's like, that Asari's face isn't on yet. Like, I mean, they're like not the detail in the textures, like the basics are there, and it's like there it is.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, Unreal was real big about that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, Mass Effect has some of my favorite faces of all time. I think one of them is still my avatar on Discord.
Yeah.
I love that face. It's so bad. I adore it.
But like I can still go back because like at the time, like in 2007, like those faces were incredible.
That was the norm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I still like I can still look at it through that lens and be like, no, for 2007,
Absolutely.
this is still incredible.
But it's still funny.
Oh yeah. Because like
really
even
funny.
back then there were definitely certain places where it's like, ooh, what's going on there?
Oh yeah. Oh god. Oh there's so many times where I'm walking around in Skyrim, and even with all the stuff I have going on, like AI overhauls and all this shit, there's still every now and then you're just like, that guy's just walking into that wall, and that's just what he's gonna do. And then he'll teleport a little bit, and then it's like, all right, well, I'm glad you worked that out, buddy. Good job.
That's a thing that I'm really hoping to see improve, like as time goes on. Not only with like, as hardware gets more powerful, but also like as like AI gets better. And when I mean AI, I mean like like AI for video game characters,
video games,
right?
Yes.
Like I want to see more realistic like NPCs like kind of going about their business
Schedules.
Schedules, right?
Yes.
But like also like and I try to not linger in areas in like open world games because I don't want to break the illusion for myself.
Yeah.
Like if you ever watch like any like Stephanie Sterling video, like they love to just like sit and stare at stuff like that. And
sometimes
like,
it's fun.
Sometimes it's fun,
Yeah.
but like I'm that type of person where it's like I don't want to break immersion or anything like that. So I want to like preserve the illusion of this being like a living, breathing world.
Yeah.
But it would be cool if, like, no, this person that's like sawing this wood, like they're going to actually saw through that wood, and then they have other things to do after they saw that piece of wood, you know, and then they'll go back to sawing another piece of wood, but they'll do it over a course of time where, you know, you can actually watch them doing like a repetitive task. And like,
to Skyrim's credit, they have a lot of what you're talking about. For the most part, I'm not gonna bullshit you. Like, even vanilla Skyrim, like, you know, like fucking Hod goes to the mill, he saws those fucking logs, and then he goes home and goes to sleep. And if you add like mods to it, then they'll start going to the fucking pub at night and doing shit, which is pretty neat. But like, yeah, like they had like the character scheduling and stuff like that, like that. They did. That's why people really like that stuff. It was like, you know, like Nazim comes all the way from his fucking farm, goes to fucking the market, and then talks a bunch of shit at the market, and then goes home.
Right? Yeah. You can't leave out the part where he like insults you.
Oh, I love Nazim. He's my favorite. I love that guy.
I love watching the PlayStation Access lists on Fridays, the Friday features, and Rob Pearson, the host, just loves like murdering that dude in any way that he can.
It's the thing. It's totally the thing. I just adore him. That was one funny and I need to get this mod back. I have it still, but I need to find, I can't remember which character overhaul it is, but I need to do some easy NPC work, which is a pain in the ass, but I should do it anyway because it will all be worth it for whatever the hell mod I had on, because I was doing a bunch of like NPC overhauls, which is one of my favorite things to do, because then you get to go from town to town and be like, ooh, what do they look like this time? But one of them made Nazim just look like Lionel Richie, and I was like, I am so into this look. This is how I want this man to look, like fucking Lionel Richie for no reason. It's great. But yeah, Skyrim modding, it's a hell of a thing. I'm gonna tell you what.
But then you also have to add another mod where when you talk to him, he just sings hello.
That'd be good, but that's probably a lot. I don't think anybody has that. Nobody likes him enough. I'd have to do it myself, and I'm not into doing that.
Yeah.
I always wanted to make my own NPC overhaul, but it's a lot of work. I also wanted to make a clothing replacer. That I feel like I can do. I actually at one point, I think it was like last year, I was messing around with trying to do that in the creation kit.
Yeah.
And it was something, but yeah. Hell of a world.
One of my exes, like she got into IMVU for a good chunk of time.
Yes.
And she ended up like learning how to make clothing. And so she, you know, I mean, I don't talk to her anymore. She's the ex that went MAGA.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't speak to her anymore. But the last time I had spoken to her, like she was still like making money off of her shop on IMVU. Yeah. And she's like, yeah, if I actually took the time to make some new stuff, I'd probably like make some bank on here. I just don't want to bother.
The Sims people make fucking bank on some of that shit, dude. Like, yeah, absolutely.
I believe it.
I mean, hell, I'm subscribed to, I was subscribed to a couple of Sims ones, but I don't think anymore. I think I got rid of all those, but I am subscribed to a couple Skyrim ones. Dint is a hell of a, like all Dint does really is fucking port shit from Black Desert Online, but I'm like, but these look so cool, I can't help it. But also they that is one thing, like Dint is the person, like I know I sent you that video the one time, and I remember you being like, man, these hair physics are fucking crazy.
Yes.
That's the guy. That's the guy who makes those. And like, yeah, those hair physics are nuts and will crash your game.
I never said it on air, but man, the hair in Dragon Age the Veilguard, fucking incredible.
It's very good. Very good hair. Oh yeah. You're right. I forgot about that, but yes, very good hair.
Just incredible.
We're getting there. We
are. Yeah. Hair has been very difficult. Yeah. Like, you know, since the advent of 3D, like that has been one of the hardest things, like hair and like flowing clothing.
Oh yeah. Well, like, yeah. So you have to have, you know, as somebody who looked into it briefly, because I was trying to what was I trying to do that I ended up looking into that stuff? I was trying to not port something. I was trying to convert something, and I couldn't figure out how to fucking add the physics that were already on it to the thing that I was trying to convert to the body type I was using. It's really dumb and hard to explain to anybody listening that doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about, so we'll leave it at that. But I was trying to do something, and I was looking into this stuff, and the amount of shit you have to do is insane to actually add physics to clothes. You have to add a billion, like, what they call bones to all the clothes, then weight them individually so that they flow like they're supposed to. Now imagine doing that with strands of hair and not and giving them all collision with each other and shit like that so they don't fucking just mash into a ball instantly. Yeah, it's a lot of shit.
That's why I'm hoping that, like, you know, one of the improvements that comes over time is that it's not that laborious, right? Like, it's just like I remember, you know, this is old now, but I remember a story from the developers of Red Faction Guerrilla on the 360, because if you remember, that was the one where you could destroy a whole bunch of shit, right? And they were having trouble, like, with this structure. Like, there was like we would build this mission critical structure and it would just collapse, and they realized it was because the physics engine has been done so realistically that basically, like, the way that they had designed the building was not structurally sound enough to support the weight of the material in it. And I'm like, that's really cool. And, you know, so if like you could just be like, model like a scarf and be like, this is a scarf, it behaves like this, right? Just like in the way that you program it. And so then it just moves like a scarf, right? And you don't have to worry about putting all those points into it to make sure that it moves.
To make all that shit, yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I find that stuff very interesting.
Oh, I do too. That's why.
I actually look forward to when you do that Skyrim stream, because that'll be fun to watch.
I can't wait. Yeah, it'll be a mess, but a beautiful mess.
Yes.
And that stuff is fun. Like just what I was talking about right there. That's one of the reasons that I love doing it, is sometimes you go down rabbit holes, and I'm never gonna fucking sit there and make a clothing mod. There's no fucking way. Like, I don't have the time. I don't have the patience. There's no way. But I loved, like, learning. Like, sometimes I just, like, get, like, halfway through a tutorial. I'm like, I'm never going to use any of this, and this is way over my head, but now I know how much goes into this shit, and I respect it so much more.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you learn like a lot about just game design, period, by doing all that. Like, just because people are just like, people on the Nexus stuff cannot wait to tell you how they did a lot of this stuff sometimes, and there's just full blown fucking college essays about how many bones we put in these boobs.
Well, yeah, and I wish that there was, like, you know, I wish that developers were more transparent about stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it would help enthusiasts kind of understand things, so they would stop, like, assuming certain things or asking, like, dumb questions about things. So, like, I mean, this wasn't a dumb question, but, like, now that I've followed, you know, like, Dark Cookie's journey on Summertime Saga and listened to him talk about what goes into making what is, at its core, a very simplistic game, right? It is just a visual novel, right? But there was someone in the Struggle with Sin Discord that was like, "Hey, or they had there's a suggestions like channel, and they suggested, hey, what about, like, having the main character, like, display different armor, you know, depending on what you're equipped with?" And I'm like, my dude, that character is in every scene. Yeah. Do you understand the amount of work that would have to go in to that game? Absurd. Yeah, like, but it's something that you probably don't think about, right? No. Because you don't know what goes into it.
Yeah,
but, like,
you're on the outside looking in. You're like, oh yeah, just do this, and they're like, no, no, I can't do that.
Like, it's one thing if he wanted it just, like, in battle, right? Because like, that's just the battle sprite. But, you know, if he's wanting it to reflect, like, in all of the cutscenes and all of the interactions, it's like, especially that, like, he's in everything. Like, it's not a matter, like, if it's. Maybe if it was like your party members where they're not displayed all the time, but even then they're still
a lot. That's still a lot. Yeah, no, and it's one guy, you know, it's not like there's a team of people. Like, that's the thing about modding, is, like, it's a bunch of people. So, like, that one guy that suggested that is, like, now out there, like, you know what? I want this and I'm going to make it fucking happen. So they sit there and fucking do it. Right. And then everybody goes, oh, that's fucking great. Or, oh, this is a broken fucking mess. But it's one or the other. But like, that's the thing. And sometimes they all, I don't know. It's a whole community thing, Julian. There's some people that suck, but you never know. Most of them seem pretty okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that dumb shit. I'll be almost sad when I put it down for another year, but at the same time, it'll probably be time at the same time. I'm already starting to be like, yeah, I'm ready to move on from this a little bit, but I'm also so close.
The Stage Select is made possible through the support and funding of viewers like you. Here are our wonderful patrons.
Well, you know who also seems okay, Justin?
Gerard Way. No, he was not okay. I'm sorry. Who else is okay? Okay. Travis Tritt.
No.
Well, he said he was doing all right.
No.
There's a whole song about it. It wasn't very good, but
it's our patrons, Justin. It's our patrons.
Oh, them. Yeah, all right.
Yes, they're okay.
Is Travis Tritt not a patron of ours?
Not yet.
Okay, well, we can. Actually, I don't really want him to listen to this show. That's so. That's all.
That would be very strange.
That would be really weird. I don't think I'd like it very much. I hope he goes and gets him a Fu Manchu somewhere else.
Sure.
That's part of the song, Julian. Try to keep up.
We appreciate all of our lovely patrons, but every week we like to thank our executive producer tier. And this week we have Xavier Krager.
We have Stephen Lobo.
We have 60 Does Stuff. Upgrade from a key grip.
Oh. We have Philip P.K. Becker.
We have Matt Jorgensen.
We have Game Johnson of Retrofits.
Yes, I thought I'd take a page out of Bill and associate the names with the projects that they do as an extra little thank you.
Oh, now okay, I got it. Okay, got it.
We have Exrian.
We have Eric Peacock of Soundtracker.
We have Dennis Robertson.
We have David Portnov.
We have Casey Curran.
We have Big Baker.
We have Addy XD.
And we have Lazy Bocas. Lazy Bocas? Lazy Bocas.
I think Bocas.
Bocas. Yeah. Okay. All right. I hope we pronounced that right or didn't. Either whatever's funnier. Their new associate producer ?
Yes. So I had to look into this, Justin, because this was another person that showed up as a gifted membership.
Okay.
But the thing that freaked me out, and the reason that I actually sent Patreon like a help desk question, was because this one had the exact same end date as the other gifted member.
Okay.
And I was like, did we get some sort of weird data breach or something? And these are showing up, but there's some sort of weird scam thing going on.
Yeah.
But no, it turns out it's legit. That's the way they show up. And the reason it shows as a zero payment is because I guess we're not privy to, because they didn't technically pay it.
Oh,
right. You know what I mean? So it only shows the amount that each member has paid themselves.
I see.
And I guess, the money just is in our account.
It just goes there. Yeah. I see.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
So I don't know who's gifting subs, but I appreciate it. And hopefully, Lazy, you check out the show and you like what you hear. And
hopefully Lazy is doing all right. Cue the Travis Tritt song. Now, I don't have a Travis Tritt button yet, and I don't plan on getting one. But,
no, please no.
Why not? Now I'm going to do it.
God damn it.
Now it's going to happen. Unless I forget, which could happen.
That will definitely happen.
It probably,
you never remember.
Well, now we've made it a thing, Julian, so I don't know. I don't know. It might happen. I don't even like that guy. He seems like a piece of shit, but...
He doesn't seem like a piece of Tritt.
That too. Who is the other? I always get him confused with Randy Travis. Are you over there making millennial jokes and laughing at them?
I just thought I was pretty clever there.
Oh, yeah. That's... whenever I hear a pun now, I'm just like, what fucking millennial wrote this? I don't know what it is with my generation.
That's weird because, like, if anything, like puns are more of like a much older generation type joke.
But millennials adopted it, and they really are leaning in. And I see, I know. I'm like, yeah, I know who you are. I know how old you are.
I'm just trying to get down with
the sickness. We all are.
The Gen Z and Gen Alpha stuff going on. I'm all about looks maxing and rizzing things up.
That okay. And congratulations. I don't know. Yeah. Is that a congratulatory thing? Should I be happy about that? I don't know.
When I have like a good amount of riz, congratulate me. Like right now I'm at negative riz. But like, I think if I keep looks maxing, I'll get there.
You'll get there.
Yeah.
There is a Reddit thread about how to looks max.
I believe it.
Yeah. Usually it's just like, comb your hair, I guess. I don't know. I don't really read it.
Well, that doesn't do me any good, Justin.
Well, grow hair. I don't know.
I'll get right on that.
Yeah, we'll all get on that.
Oh, yeah. So that's it. But thankfully, there was a Sony State of Play this week.
Thank God. As soon as I seen that, I was like, "Oh, thank God." at least we can talk about some stuff.
Yeah, I'm very curious what your overall thoughts of the presentation are. Before anything else,
I thought it was not bad. That was my kind of thing. There was some stuff that I was like, that looks pretty okay. I will play that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was fucking great.
Okay.
And I've found it very interesting. The discourse online, like this was actually an interesting thing for me because our Discord was pretty much all like super positive about it.
Yeah.
Where I have expressed like a lot of like our listeners are kind of like downer on the industry than I am.
Yeah.
But then going to Blue Sky, it was like super negative.
Really interesting.
And then like kind of just like looking around, like just like a lot of people being like, "Oh man," like I watched a video by Kyle Bossman, who used to be with Easy Allies.
Okay.
And game trailers before that.
Sure.
And he had a video about like just how like blah it is and everything. I'm like, man, like
I didn't get that at all. Yeah.
What world, like I feel bad for these people who can't find joy in anything anymore, apparently. Because like a big thing that I saw was like, well, all these games look the same, and I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? Like the first thing they showed was a really fucking hot looking 2D Shinobi game, and like not long after that,
the first thing they showed was Monster Hunter.
Well, no, but
to be fair, but yes, that Shinobi game looks awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And like then there's like this, we'll get into it in a second, but like there's this like really amazing looking like claymation game, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got like a couple just amazing looking like character action games. You've got a really hot looking open world game from a former Rockstar developer. Like I said, I was like, yeah, this is pretty Digimon
right.
game that looks fucking
that's me
awesome.
Being like actually pretty positive on it. Like I went in Julian basically said, I want to talk about this thing this morning. I was like, oh yeah, and it was early this morning when I
texted you yesterday.
I was gonna say I was asleep when I received the text and woke up to it. And it was like, oh, well, I guess I'll have to watch that when I get home from work. All right, so I won't look up anything. And I didn't. I stayed super blind and then got home and was like, all right, let's watch this thing. And I was like, all right, I don't know what to expect. And it started with Monster Hunter, and I was like, oh, boy, this is going to suck, isn't it?
That was weird because like that game's out like in a couple of weeks, and like there was a beta test last weekend, so it's like I think we're good on knowing that Monster Hunter or Monster Rancher or Monster Hunter's coming.
Immediate reaction to that was like, oh god, they got nothing, do they? They got nothing. And then as it went, I was like, oh no, they actually got some shit. This is all right. Yeah.
And you know, it was a combination of like seeing more of stuff that we were aware of, but a lot of like new stuff. And I mean, new stuff, like new IP.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is like, what are you people complaining about? Like there's like literal new stuff, right?
Yeah.
Brand new IP of a lot of different types. If you're one of those people who's like, well, nothing that comes out now is any good. There's a remake of a 20-year-old game coming out here. You like the stuff from the past, right?
Yeah.
There you go. There's something from the past for you.
Yeah.
Although, I don't know.
Although that are you talking about Metal Gear?
Metal Gear, yeah.
I don't know if I liked the trailer to that.
Really?
I was a little nonplussed by it, and I don't know what it is. I think it might stem from me, you know, kind of rewatching the original one.
I was thinking about this in the shower last week.
Yeah.
So, because here's the thing, right? It's hard to know author intent. Because Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, and actually 1 also, there's a very distinctive look to them and like the way the cutscenes play out that I think had a lot to do with working around the limitations of the hardware. Right? But you can't know for sure if Kojima would have done it differently if he didn't have those limitations. And so but we associate those games with that
with the
look.
with the directing and how all that stuff plays out. And you're right, it's probably hiding a lot of stuff, but at the same time, that's Metal Gear to me, right?
Right. And and what I ended up coming to in my head was, but Metal Gear Solid 4 and 5 and Death Stranding do not look like that.
That's very true.
And so that's why because I was thinking about this exact thing, because I was like, man, I really like that hazy look of Metal Gear Solid 3.
Oh, me too.
Right. And then that kind of blur effect that would happen during like cutscenes and stuff like that. But then I was like, but I bet that was a thing that he was just kind of doing because of the PS2.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
So it is kind of weird because like, it's almost like you almost want like a filter on it, or something to give it that like color grading again. But it feels very faithful.
Maybe. I have to see more.
I do too. So apparently this trailer leaked ahead of time.
Yeah,
because I was expecting since I'd already seen this trailer last week that they were going to do like maybe like a nice 8 or 9 minute gameplay thing here. But I guess this was supposed to debut at the State of Play. So
right. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. But yeah, like I when I seen it, I was like, I mean, it doesn't look bad. By no stretch does it look bad. I'm just not sure how I feel about it, because a lot of what they're showing is the cutscenes. There's like not that much gameplay. And I'm kind of I don't know, there's something about it that I'm just like, I gotta see it in action to really know if I like it. There's something weird. I don't know. It feels weird that there's a Metal Gear and Kojima is not really involved in it, and that kind of weirds me out. I don't know. The closer we get to it, the more I start to be like, I don't know how I feel about this.
I'm not gonna lie. Also, like hearing David Hayter Snake in the trailer, I get emotional.
That is great. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Because he's so synonymous with that character, or these characters rather.
Absolutely.
This isn't Solid Snake, but you know, the fact that he wasn't there for those last couple entries, counting, you know, Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, yeah, this is the character.
Right.
So I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
It's coming out in August, so that's cool.
That is cool.
I linked us to an IGN article, but as they tend to do, they don't do it in order. So I'm going to I've watched it twice, so I kind of have a better idea of what was shown chronologically.
Yeah.
And I want to say that, so that new Shinobi game looks incredible. And I got worried because like the trailer starts out with, from the makers of Streets of Rage 4, and I'm like, oh no, I hated Streets of Rage 4. But apparently they also worked on one of those like Wonder Boy remakes.
Okay.
And those were really good.
Yeah.
So, and this looks like a really awesome evolution of Shinobi 3, which is my favorite of the older Shinobis.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I'm interested to check that out. It is funny that it's coming out in the same year as a really awesome looking 2D Ninja Gaiden remake as well. Right. So like that's kind of funny.
Yeah, why not? all the old NES Ninja games, or what? All the 16 to 8-bit Ninja
Bring
games.
back Legend of Kage.
They'll do it.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't think they're going to do that.
And I think one of the next things, because I was shocked. I'm excited to play a Digimon game.
Oh,
that Digimon trailer looked fucking rad,
all right.
dude.
This was one of my favorite things. I don't know if I'm gonna play the Digimon game, but
I probably won't.
Yeah,
but like I was watching this trailer and I'm like, what is this? This looks fucking
I
cool.
immediately was like, oh man, this is gonna be Xavier Krager's game of the year right here. But like I immediately seen it. I was like, what is this? Because the trailer is great because they don't tell you what it is at all.
Yeah. The second time that I watched it, I was like, okay, if I knew Digimon, I would have clued in earlier. But they still play it pretty close to the chest.
They're just like, here's like a city. The more I looked at it, the more I was like, is this like a Shin Megami Tensei game or what is it? Because it kind of looked like, or somebody emulating the style. I was like, what is this exactly? And then they're like, and something with Digimon, and I was just like, I would have lost that bet. I'd have lost that bet. I didn't expect Digimon. Who could ever expect Digimon? But yeah,
they're like the Spanish Inquisition.
They really were. It was great.
Yeah,
I applauded them for that. Like I audibly laughed at that. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, why not? It doesn't look too bad. It might be good. Who knows?
I thought it looked like no joke. I was like, from the moment that trailer started, I was like, holy shit, what is this?
Digimon.
And then like when it was the reveal, I was like, God damn it. Am I going to play a fucking Digimon game in 2025?
Yeah,
like what is happening?
They've been going hard on that shit.
No,
for a while now.
I remember like, I think it was a 2023 game or maybe
Digimon
2022
Survive,
game. Yeah, that Xavier was really high on.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the next big thing that I think chronologically, the next thing that I remember chronologically was the Midnight Walk, which they had shown a reveal trailer of earlier.
That was, that wasn't that.
This is like the Claymation one.
Game Awards they showed that, or was that?
I believe it was either the Game Awards or it might have been another State of Play.
I was trying to remember where I seen that at, but yeah, I remember seeing it.
And it's first person. They called it a cozy horror game.
Yeah, which my gut reaction was, these two things do not go together, but okay.
Well, the actual gameplay that they showed gave me more of a horror Metroid Prime vibe.
Okay, sure.
Because like you do have like a weapon, and something about the way that the weapon behaved and like just the way that like this stuff was being displayed on screen, I was like, yeah, I'm getting real strong Metroid Prime vibes, and that's not a bad thing. I don't know. It looks very interesting.
There's a much more Metroid Prime game later on, I think. At least it looked like it.
I think I know the one you're talking about. But I liked what I saw, and it's gorgeous. It kind of reminds me of Harold Halibut in the sense of like, this is something I've never seen in a video game before. Like, it's something I've definitely seen in film quite a bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I've never really seen it done in video game form, and like I'm interested.
Yeah, it looks neat.
Yeah, we will see like what ends up becoming of it, but
never know.
See. Yeah. Then I think the next thing was a longer trailer of Lost Soul Aside, which we have seen before.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of which one. That was the.
This is a Chinese developer.
Yes.
So this is an interesting game because it reminded me a lot of Stellar Blade,
right?
In the sense, and Stellar Blade I know is like a Korean made game.
Yes,
but when I played the demo of Stellar Blade, like one of my big criticisms of it was it didn't feel like it had a cohesive art style to it. Like to me, it really felt like they were taking like a lot of different disparate like monster types from like an asset store or something like that, and then retweaking them and putting them into their game. I get a little bit of the same vibe with Lost Soul Aside, but I think it looks really hot.
Yeah. This is the one. No, I'd have to play the trailer.
He's going through like a lot of different dimensions, and like there's this part where he's he's kind of like walking on this ground that's like appearing under his feet, and he does this like loop-de-loop.
Yeah. That it looked neat. It looks
Yeah.
very neat. I
There's
would
a part where he like has this cool like these wing gliders that he's using.
Yeah, it looks like they added everything in there. I'll check it out. Why not?
It's a very
seems neat.
kitchen sink
Yes.
like development mentality, but if the gameplay is good and you know if it's got a decent story, like I'll definitely check it out. You know, I will eventually check out Stellar Blade. Oh, also I was thinking of you because they announced
that comes out in June, I believe.
for PC.
Yeah, for
yes.
PC. Yeah, that's when I'll try it. Yep.
Yeah, along with like the Nikkei.
Oh yeah, just all the horniest franchises must combine. We have to
but
do
I forgot that it's the same developer. So
Yes. Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay.
Yes.
That makes perfect sense then. Absolutely.
they used all of their Nikkei money to fund Stellar Blade.
God bless them.
Yes, just
Why
ask
not?
for days.
Now, yeah. Why not? I get it. Why
Yeah.
not?
I might be skipping around here a little bit. I apologize.
Oh, that's fine.
I know Sonic Racing Crossworlds was a
Oh,
very
that
early
happened.
thing shown.
Yeah. That happened.
And that looks nice. I agree with what Casey said on Blue Sky, which is it seems like a weird backstep to have it only be Sonic and no longer be like a big Sega
thing
celebration
Right, yeah.
like they had in the previous game.
Yeah.
Especially when it's called Crossworlds. I don't know.
It feels like maybe a weird missed opportunity here, but you
Yes.
know what? Maybe that's the plan. Maybe it's for now. It's just Sonic, but then
Good point. Maybe there's a DLC. Like I want to have Gilius Thunderhead from Golden Axe in a car.
You're right, but like
Make it happen.
then we our first DLC is like, you know, we add like all of this game's whole universe and all the
Yeah.
tracks and all the guys and stuff.
I would buy that.
That'd be neat. That'd be a neat
Yeah.
way to do it. But then again, if you were gonna do that, you probably wouldn't label it Sonic though.
That's the thing,
see,
right?
That's the
Like,
thing. So
it would be like Sega Racing Crossworlds.
yeah, that would be great. That would be
Yeah.
dope.
And that's what I would be more
Yeah,
interested in.
I think I would be too. But
yeah.
They did it with, but then again, Mario Kart fucking has like Zelda characters and shit in there.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
That's the thing about that when they, you know, because they did so much with Mario Kart 8 and it's been so crazy successful.
Yeah,
And I don't know why I'm like hemming and hawing about this because it's not like it's any different from any other release, but like I really do feel that both with Mario Kart 8 and Smash Brothers, it's like, well, what do you fucking do for a sequel? Because like you put everything in that last one.
Smash, I absolutely agree with you on because like I don't know where they go after what they've done.
And
Mario Kart
for Mario Kart 9, what I was going to say is that you have to go Smash Brothers with it.
Yeah, I think
You have to bring in tons of different franchises.
There's still room, and people love those games. They could absolutely do it, and pull it off quite nicely, probably.
Yeah.
And even if they don't, it's a Mario Kart game with a new coat of paint. People will fucking buy it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I ended up concluding. I was like, why are you even like, you know, questioning this? It's like it's gonna
sell.
Yeah,
people love Mario Kart, man.
I guess in my head, I'm like, but if you can still just play Mario Kart 8 on it backwards compatibility wise, like why? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that, but what if we had the newest Mario Kart though?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those people have played the shit out of Mario Kart 8 and want just anything new.
True.
So you'll sell to those people for sure.
Yeah.
God, they're gonna release with that thing. I think that shit will be huge.
Oh no, you're not.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
It's the best move they can make. If they release with a Mario Kart, it's fucking done. Like that thing's gonna fly off the shelves.
Even more than releasing with like a mainline Mario
That's
game.
what I mean.
Because,
Yeah, no, it's exceeded mainline Mario at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
oh well, I mean, for what people tend to not remember is that after Mario 64, the mainline Mario games didn't really sell what
really
you would
don't.
expect them to sell in relation to other games.
Right.
Like I remember like Galaxy in particular being like relatively soft as far as what you would expect a game of that caliber and quality to sell.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with like a couple of the Zelda games, like and even like Metal Gear Solid, they were successful, don't get me wrong, but they were not like the juggernauts that you would expect them to be, considering the legacy that they have cemented for themselves. But also I mean, part of that was also the industry was just smaller.
It was a lot.
So,
yeah, it was still very niche in those days. So yeah.
Yes. This is the next thing that I'm going to add. I don't know if this is where it shows up, but
Okay.
I am curious of your thoughts about this one.
Sure.
They shadow dropped Warriors Abyss, which is like a Hades-like with the Samurai Warriors
I've
IP
seen
from
that.
Omega Force.
Yeah. It kind of looked bad to me.
You thought so?
I didn't think
I thought it looked cool.
It might be neat. There was something about it when I was looking at it. I was just presentation wise, I was like, this looks like you slapped this together. But like, it's a neat idea though. I would try it.
Yeah.
Like, how much is that fucking thing? Let's see.
I'm curious. It's one of those things where it's like, I'm not a fan of the Samurai Warriors franchise, and I'm fairly picky about the roguelites that I play, or the run-based games that I play. But I think this is like one of those like chocolate and peanut butter ideas where it's like, no, this is a really awesome idea for the people that are into either one of those.
Yeah, well, it's $25. That's not bad. You can
That's a good price.
You can play as Lubu's daughter. That's cool. I think.
Oh, I thought this was going to be like more of the Japanese side, because I saw like Nobunaga.
I think it's.
Is it everything?
I want to say it's everything. It's like an Orochi kind of thing. That's what it looks like. Yeah, because there's Nobunaga. There's all there's Samurai Warriors. That girl's from Samurai Warriors. I cannot remember her name. I
didn't realize that they had ever like had those two universes.
Orochi is like the big huge. I think if I remember right, Orochi actually throws like dead or alive characters in there. Like I think you can be Kasumi and shit in those.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
okay.
they go really fucking nuts. They just threw everything at the wall. But yeah, no, it I don't know. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at like the gameplay itself. Like I'm watching it right now, and it just looks like it's neat looking. I don't know. It might play great, but like, God, there's something about it that just looks so cheap. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I'd try it, I guess. But yeah, $25. I don't know if I'm gonna spend that right now. Let's just forget about that. But yeah, I don't know. It's neat. For sure, but I that was kind of my reaction. I was like, that's neat, I guess. I don't know if I'm gonna mess with that, but yeah. Anyway,
there was a Five Nights at Freddy's game announced, and the only reason that I mention it is because I was kind of impressed because it looked like an actual goddamn video game for once.
It did look like a video game. I skipped the entire trailer. That was the one I was just like, I'm not watching this. I don't fucking care.
I only mention it because, like, what I know of Five Nights at Freddy's is it's just like you're in this office and then you like hit these switches or you open these doors and whatnot. But like here, it's like, oh, you're actually moving around to space and like it looks like you've got like some puzzles
they
to
do
solve.
Some actual shit. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'm not gonna play it, but like it's cool that like they're finally like evolving that.
Yeah, good for
franchise. They released they showed another trailer and also announced the release date for the Onimusha 2 remaster, which we hadn't talked about because I think that was just announced at like a Capcom showcase.
Oh,
like
Onimusha 2 remaster?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you were talking about the new Onimusha. I was like,
well, we'll get to that.
Okay, cool.
So I'm excited for Onimusha 2 to come back because that's actually my favorite.
Yeah, I like that they decided to bring that back because that first one apparently didn't do very well or whatever, right?
First one didn't do very well, and what I had always heard is that it was hard for that, like because the actor who plays Jubei in Onimusha 2 was already dead.
Yeah.
When the game was made, but they had worked with his estate to make that happen.
Yeah.
But then I guess they had trouble with that estate later on trying to bring it back. Yeah. So I'm glad they got that worked out. That's great. Because I do think it's definitely the deepest of the series.
It'll be I will wait with they're never gonna bring back 3. Right.
That's
gonna be tough.
That's never say probably
never, but like, never say never.
That's like a bigger deal to do that.
That seems tough.
Especially because like, you know, having just recently replayed 3.
Yeah.
That game's not very fun.
Oh, I'm not saying that, but like,
no, but I'm just saying like the return on like the investment that it takes to like get that remastered. I don't even know
if it's worth it. Yeah. Unless you can somehow go in and change like the one guy or whatever, like, crazier things have been done. I don't know.
But then they showed an actual like deeper gameplay trailer of Onimusha Way of the Sword, which is coming next year.
So when they revealed that, so I was like, oh, that's neat. They're bringing Onimusha back. I don't know if I care that much. Like, I didn't have your reaction to it. I'll put it like that.
Definitely.
But like watching this trailer, I was like, yo, this looks pretty fucking all right.
I'm glad you said that. Yeah, dude.
Like, yo, I'm kind of into this. This looks fucking dope. I'm going to play the shit out of that.
So they hadn't revealed the character when they announced it at the Game Awards. Yeah. And then this trailer, it's like they're showing the character, and he says something, and then he kind of walks into frame, and then on the screen in big white text, Miyamoto Musashi, and I was like, let's fucking go, because that is what I've always wanted for an Onimusha game, is to play as Miyamoto Musashi.
Yeah,
I actually read a book about Musashi.
Yeah,
because he's actually credited with being the developer of like the two katana fighting style.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that comes into play. Like, they do show him fighting with two blades in this trailer, but they're small blades.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that there is like just the full-on twin katana fighting style for him.
Right.
But I love his characterization, because like there's a part where, because this is also what I'm remembering of the book, is that as he was coming up, like he was a pretty brash and kind of like full of bluster type of youth.
Yeah.
And he became more stoic as he got older. But like there's a part where he's like surrounded by demons and he's talking this big game, and then he's like, oh, you have so many guys, like just bring them on. And then he turns around and he's like, this is bad, and then he just runs off. And it's like a very like Ichiban thing.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, all right, this game already has like a lot more personality than any of the previous games.
Yeah.
And then the game, like the actual gameplay looks hot.
It looks good. Yeah, that's what got me, was I was like, all right, no, this looks pretty all right. Like,
definitely the goriest that Onimusha's ever been.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
There's a part in the trailer, and I didn't notice it. I noticed it, but like it didn't trigger until the second time I watched it. But there's a part where he's like kind of in a building, and he's near a tatami mat, and there's enemies coming towards him, and he pulls the tatami mat up to use it like a shield.
That was cool. Yeah. That shit like that, I was just like, okay, no, this looks really good, actually. Like I didn't really care about Onimusha at all, but now here we are, and I'm kind of in. That sounds awesome.
Now I would have assumed that what they were going to try to do with bringing Onimusha back is go for their take on a From Software formula, because that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to be what they're going for, though. It still seems like it's more about like decent group of enemies that you're taking on at a time, but then the bigger fights are a bigger deal. Yeah. So I'm curious to see like how it's actually going to play.
Maybe more like akin to like a Devil May Cry type thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or maybe splitting the difference and being like part that, part Neo.
You're right.
Yeah. But and it looks incredible. That RE engine is just, in an age where fewer and fewer people develop their own game engines, Capcom has really like mastered this engine that they've been working on for the last 10 years.
Absolutely.
They're just squeezing the most that they can out of it. And have they released a bad game in the last 10 years? I'm not sure. Everything has been like of a certain quality.
Yeah. I mean, even the ones that are kind of like, not as like highly praised, like the one shooter game with the
Exoprimal,
yeah.
Even that was like, it looked really good. It played really well.
It seemed perfectly fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would have preferred it to not be what it is. Like, I wish it was more of a linear game. It was more of
a weird idea game problem than anything, Nothing on its looks or anything like that, but like it had some ideas, and they didn't really mesh.
Those armor designs are really cool, and
it felt like they just.
I would love it in a single player game.
It feels like they were developing 3 different games and were like, well, we have all this shit laying around. What if we just combined it all and just made this? And here we are. But yeah. What else was after that, Julian? I can't remember either.
I'm trying. Yeah, let's see. Well, Paul Heyman came out to talk about the island in WWE.
God, looking at it just makes me mad. Like, I'm not okay. I'm sorry to go on a rant here because
that's why I brought it up.
Yeah, I wanted to know. Like, I was upset to see this.
Okay.
like, so I hadn't really looked. I've heard about it. I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on the show.
Yeah, we mentioned it last week.
Yeah, absolutely. I figured as much, but like, actually seeing it just upset me. Like, I hadn't.
How so?
I'm sure I could have, looked it up and seen it. Because immediately I was like, "Oh my god, it's just fucking the 2K." It literally, like, I was hoping for a little bit more creativity, but I was just like, "This is just the NBA 2K city." Like, that's what it is. Like, with the stores and fucking everything. And I was just like, I hate where we're going. This sucks. This really sucks.
Is it just kind of like a watered down version of the fighting hub in Street Fighter 6?
How to put it? I'm not really sure exactly how this one's going to function, and I don't really fully know exactly how the NBA one functioned. But it was kind of like a hub, and you had to like actually walk to get to like, okay, so like, yeah, hub world is the best way to describe it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You walk to go to the single player thing. You walk over here to get to the multiplayer thing. You walk over here to go to the store or whatever. There's little.
But are you walking up to like other players and being like, I challenge you, and then getting into a match?
Know how that works? I don't think so. I think you have to go to where they're happening at, and then you get in a queue or whatever, however that works. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, just seeing it, because I've also seen other things where it's like, oh yeah, like I think they showed like bits like, oh, you can create and customize your guy and stuff like that. And like, what they don't show you is how much like shit that costs, like how much like actual money that shit costs, which is some of the stuff that's been coming out. It's like, I can't, the way people were comparing it was like, so like the special editions come with a certain amount of virtual currency or whatever the fuck. And it was like the special edition, the highest you can buy, the Bloodline edition, comes with just enough to buy that one pair of shorts. It's like, oh god, oh yeah, you gonna be spending some actual fucking money if you want to look.
I'm not.
This. No, I'm not either. That shit's ridiculous. Like, and I'm already like,
see, what I was hoping was going to be was at least a version of World Tour mode from Street Fighter 6, where it's like there's like quests and storyline, and
there might be. I don't see. I'm gonna buy it on. I've decided I'm gonna buy it on Xbox because I really do want to. Like, I gotta know. If this is gonna put me off of this shit, I gotta know what it is at least.
Worth noting also that there's a little disclaimer that says that mode is not available on PlayStation 4 either.
Yes. Yeah. It, basically what happened is the old gen version basically is what gets ported to Steam. So that's why those three you can cross gen. I'm not actually 100% sure how that shit works, but it's weird. It's only the new gen stuff that has this island fucking mode.
Yeah.
But
still surprising that well, I mean, again, I guess part of the reason for the PC is they're worried about people cracking it and getting access to the shit.
But I mean, NBA's on fucking PC, so
well, there you go. Yeah, because so in that case, it is weird that like you're not getting the best like version, probably graphically either, of it on the PC, where you would expect a different story.
I know. I think it's still dude, I have no idea. It's so confusing. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Like the game, the bones of the game and the stuff in there sound really cool and like stuff I want to play. But it's this one thing over here that I'm real fucking worried about. Like, and not just for like this game, because absolutely I can ignore that shit and it can go away forever. And that's, or it can just be over there and doing its thing. Like the fucking card mode that's already there, the My Faction shit. As soon as you boot that game up, like 2K24 or whatever, it's like, yo, press this button and you go straight to My Faction. I'm like, I'm never gonna press that button unless I accidentally do it. And then if you accidentally do it, Julian, guess what happens? You get sucked into like a 10-minute tutorial on how to buy cards and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my god,
Awesome.
oh, it's great. Oh, it's just what everybody wants. It's so I hate it. But yeah, like I am worried about this. I'm like actively
You're right to be.
This might get dicey because I can see them being like, ooh, what if we put some really cool shit behind here and we don't need to add anything new to the the base game. We can just keep doing it over here and charging money for it. And it concerns me. So
Yeah. Oh, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, probably not too much longer. I want to play the game. I hate to say it. I want to play the game. I'm just fucking, yeah. Anyway.
Randy Pitchford came out to...
oh, God, did he?
I was like, Randy, why are you getting on camera? Like, nobody wants to see you.
Randy and his friend Randy, who...
Yeah.
You can... Oh, the bit writes itself, Julian. They're both named Randy.
I cringed so hard.
God, I hated both of them.
And it was so... And I was like... It's kind of amazing that you could out-cringe yourself from what you did at the Game Awards, which was come on after Joseph Ferris dropped like the F-bomb 3 times.
Yeah.
And then censor yourself when you drop an F-bomb, but you self-censor.
Yeah.
Especially after that, it really just makes you look like so lame.
Yeah.
And the game by extension. Borderlands 4 looks fine. It's coming out in September.
I that was exactly what I said as the trailer was. I was like, yeah, it looks like a Borderlands. Sure.
Yeah.
Why not?
Also coming in September, though, Hell Is Us, which the more I see of
that
it,
shit
the
is
more excited
really looking
I get.
cool. Yeah, that
Yes.
shit is really looking cool. Yeah,
That character has some luxurious locks.
yeah,
That is like the most full-bodied curly hair I've
Right.
ever seen on a character.
yeah. I agree.
But yeah, it's looking incredible. I don't know what to expect from that game.
Have they showed like actual gameplay of it?
They have, and I watched a video from someone who he's more in like the Souls
Okay.
realm of
All right.
YouTube, but he had gotten like a hands-on preview of
Sure.
it, and he was like, y'all need to be paying attention to this game.
Okay.
Like, not comparing it to like a Souls franchise. He was just like, in terms of just like pure
A
game
video
feel,
game?
he was
Yeah.
like, this game has got something,
Cool.
and like I can't wait to play
Yeah,
more.
that
And I was
sounds
like, okay, awesome.
Sounds awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, just like so many like new things that are on the horizon that are looking really interesting. Like Dreams of Another from Q Games.
This game, yes, dude.
I-
Okay, yeah. This game immediately I was just like, what the fuck is this? And then as it went, I was like, oh my god, I need to play this fucking game. It looks so insane. I have to know what this is.
I tuned out when the trailer started because it said Pixel Junk, and I was like, oh, I've never cared about anything for Pixel Junk. But they're just the publisher. It's
Yeah.
Q Games, which is Tetsuya Mizuguchi's company, who he's the creator of Rez.
Right.
It looks like an impressionistic painting.
Yes.
But it's all voxel based.
Yes.
And you're using guns, but you're not using them to destroy. You're using them to create.
Yes.
Like as you shoot the environment, it opens up like new pathways
Yes.
and creates doors.
And then it says some really wild
up its own ass shit.
up its own ass shit. Yeah, I was trying to
Yeah.
find a better way to say it than that, but you're right. And
Very flowery stuff.
yes,
let's say.
okay, sure. I like that. That's good.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, I'm super into this. Let's see where this is gonna go. I can't wait.
I mean, I really want to check that one out.
Yeah, I do too.
I like
was,
what I
I was like, if any, I remember at this point in the presentation being like, if there's nothing else, that looks cool. I want to play that. So yeah.
Yeah. Supermassive. I don't know when they had announced this because I heard a interview with someone from Supermassive on the PlayStation Access podcast, and they were talking about their next game being sci-fi, but I had not recalled them ever announcing it formally anywhere or anything like that.
Yeah, I keep
But
thinking
they at
you're
least said they were working on a sci-fi thing. I was like, oh, that's weird that they would just like say that on a podcast without it being announced.
Yeah.
But here it is, Directive 8020. It looks really cool. It looks like
Yeah.
Supermassive's take on Alien,
Yes.
but with like more of a
I thought I felt like more of the
pathogen.
thing to me.
yes.
Yeah.
You're actually yes.
Yeah.
That's actually way more correct.
Yeah.
It looks good.
It looks cool.
You know,
yeah, I thought it was cool.
I'm super behind on Supermassive stuff. Like, I've only played the first 2 of the Dark Pictures games, and I haven't played The Quarry. And it's interesting because this says Directive 8020, and then underneath a Dark Pictures game. And I'm wondering, I'm like, is the narrator from Dark Pictures going to show up before this game starts? Because that'd be dope.
Yeah,
like, because he's a really big part, you know, of those games. But it would be kind of weird, but also cool for him to show up in this context.
Yeah,
he probably won't.
I'm not sure how that all works exactly.
Yeah. I really like that they're continuing to be able to do these games because it doesn't feel like they're like any of them other than Until Dawn have been very successful.
No,
but they keep coming out with them at a fairly steady clip.
Yes.
So something's going right.
I don't know. I work with a lady. They're a good friend of mine. They're awful at video games, but they loved Until Dawn. Loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And,
it's awesome.
And so I'm like, oh yeah, you should try this one out. It's the same people that made it, and they're like, okay, yeah. So and they go and buy them, and then don't play them, but but they still go and buy them. Yeah. But yeah, that one looked neat.
Yeah. I guess real quick, I was impressed with the trailer for that Lies of P expansion because I thought it was a sequel.
Oh yeah.
It looked really good.
No, Julian, you do know what the sequel will be, right? Have you heard?
I know that they're trying to build some sort of like shared like fairy tale universe.
There's a big thing.
Yeah, Xavier told me on that episode, but I don't remember what it was.
Oh, okay. All right. Everyone out there, spoilers for Lies of P. Massive spoilers for the end of Lies of P. You have 3 seconds to tune out. 3, 2, 1. That was your chance. Okay. At the end of Lies of P, they cut to I can't remember exactly how it goes. But basically they cut to Ruby Slippers and fucking they click their heels or whatever.
What it was.
And it's like, oh, the next one's Wizard of Oz. That's great.
Yeah, and that actually has me a lot more interested in that whole thing.
Why not? You know?
Yeah. People got really bent out of shape about the announcement of the Days Gone remaster. My thing is like, we don't know who actually is doing this remaster.
Oh yeah.
Like it could just be a matter, it could be a couple things, right? It could be a studio trying to cut their teeth on PlayStation 5 development. It could also be Sony expressing interest in getting a sequel done eventually, right? Especially now that Sony Bend is no longer working on what they were working on. I will probably pick this up because I never bought the PS4 version. I played it for about an hour or two when it was available through the PlayStation Collection.
I remember you talking about it at some point.
Yeah. Because before they restructured PlayStation Plus, you had access to that PlayStation library of games.
Right, yeah.
And so I downloaded it and played a bit of it. And it was cool.
Yeah.
Like I liked the way it played, and I was interested in the world. So I definitely like to check out more. I think it's coming out in May, but May's fucking stacked.
Yeah.
Like between PlayStation and Xbox, there's a shit ton of stuff coming out in May.
Yeah.
So it might get lost in the shuffle for me. But also it's a $10 upgrade if you have the PS4.
I barely paid attention when it was on, so I didn't really get bent out of shape about it. I was just like, oh yeah, they just do this sort of thing now. It's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not gonna stop them from doing it. You don't have to pay them money. It's fine.
And again, I think a lot of times these types of releases are for people that never bought it. The first time around.
For sure. Yeah. Exactly.
You know, but also if you don't want to, like the PS4 version is right there and it'll play just fine.
It's fine.
That's what I keep saying about Bloodborne. It's like you can just play the PS4 version of Bloodborne.
No, I refuse. It is. I know I do because I will only play it in 60 frames per second, Julian. They will upgrade that fucking game, or I will not play it. That's where I stand.
You weren't gonna play it anyway.
I do actually want to play it though. I actually want to try that game. I've watched it and I'm like, this game's pretty fucking cool. I want to try it actually. I doubt I'll get very far, but like I do want to try it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
That stuff I'm not all that jazzed about. So I guess we're getting down to like the last couple
what's the
big
thing you're not
things.
that jazzed about, Julian? Just tell us all. Just shit
all
all over it. Who cares?
Blueprints and Abiotic Factor.
Oh, what were those? Oh, Abiotic Factor.
Blueprints is like the anti-Justin game. It's just puzzles.
It's just puzzles. Yeah. Man, I even made the millennial joke in that one too. I was like, what millennial fucking named this thing? I get it. Get it? It's Blueprints.
Oh,
but
no, I
Blueprints.
didn't get that.
Oh, you didn't get it, Julian?
No.
Oh, these fucking millennials. They're just everywhere naming shit. I hate them. I'm a millennial. It's okay. I'm allowed to make this joke. But yeah, yeah, no, I hated that game. Abiotic Factor was what the fuck was that one?
It's like a multiplayer survival game. You're underground.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that game before.
Interesting art style. No interest in playing it.
Yeah, I mean,
it seems like it would be a game popular with HoloLive. Like a lot of the groups will get together and play that.
They did show off more Split Fiction too, which I don't care about. That's the Joseph Ferris game with the two girls. Yeah.
That's a thing where if I had somebody like to play couch co-op with, I'd probably be more interested, but I don't, and so I don't care.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you.
Yeah. So yeah, getting down towards the end. Well, real quick, because this shocked me. Konami has a new game coming out of nowhere called Darwin's Paradox.
Yeah.
That is basically Abe's Odyssey combined with Inside, but you're playing a squid. And I'm like, what timeline are we in right now?
Yeah, for sure.
It looks neat. It's nothing that I'm interested in checking out.
No, me neither.
But the fact that like Konami is seriously getting back into games is exciting.
That was my thing. I was like, wow, Konami's making this weird little game, huh? Okay, sure, why not? The other thing I wanted to ask you about, Julian, will you give Dave the Diver a shot now that Ichiban is coming as a DLC?
I've been wanting to play Dave the Diver. I just keep forgetting about it.
Yeah, I as soon as I see it, I was like, this will be the thing. Though. Yeah.
Because like not only are you doing the Dave the Diver stuff, but there's also like a beat 'em up portion of it.
Even I was kind of like, okay, actually, I might try that now.
Yes,
actually, I might try that. You might have got me with this one.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're getting in towards like the end of the show, and like
the meat.
I think the biggest stuff that got me the most excited.
Yeah, probably.
Tides of Annihilation, Justin.
Tides of Annihilation, Julian. Is that is let me make sure it's the one I'm thinking of.
It's the game that out Final Fantasy 16's Final Fantasy 16.
It's the one with the girl with the dress, right? Yes, that's how I remember it.
In like an apocalyptic London, but with like high fantasy stuff and like
this game
Titans.
Yeah, this game looked fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. At first, I was like, "Okay, what is this?" And then as it went, I was like, "Okay, what is this? This is."
It looked so good that when they didn't announce a release date, I was like, "Oh shit, this is next gen, isn't it?" But it does say in development for PS5.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that even though this was one of the few games that didn't have even a release year on it, this is the game that they released a 12-minute gameplay demo video of that I watched today.
Oh.
It's not uninterrupted 12 minutes. There are edits, including during a boss fight where I'm like, you skipped over the part where like the frame rate took a dump, didn't you? Like, so grain of salt. But dude, so the actual like moment-to-moment gameplay, it's fucking Final Fantasy 16.
Yeah.
Like she's manifesting like these different spectral creatures that are doing attacks for her, but like there's a part where she like jumps up into the air after she's launched the guy and just like slams him back down in like a suplex type move. There's some shit going on in this game, Justin.
It was pretty cool, man. I'm not gonna lie. I was impressed throughout. So yeah.
And again, it seems to me like it's almost like what Final Fantasy 15 and 16 were trying to do, but blending those two concepts together, because it's high fantasy, but in the real world, which is what 15 was trying to do. But then the action itself is like, looks as good, if not better, than Final Fantasy 16's.
Yeah.
But it seems like, because they show the boss fight that they show definitely looks like a lot more challenging than anything that you saw in Final Fantasy 16. I'm not saying that they're trying to go for a Souls thing.
Yeah.
but it's definitely you got to be more Johnny on the spot with like dodging and blocking.
It looked like a little bit of a combination of those two things. It looks cool. I'm definitely into it.
And the scale of some of those things that you're encountering, like there's like some colossi type things that are walking around, and there's a part where you're flying on a dragon towards one.
Oh, I see.
Cool.
Okay. So I'm sorry. I'm reading the thing on this page here. Tides of Annihilation takes place in modern London that has been taken over by otherworldly forces. Players will take on the role of Gwendolyn and will be able to call in the Knights of the Round Table to help her in combat. Oh, so it's like a Knights of the Round Table play. All right.
Okay.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
And they're also used for puzzle solving. So there was a part where...
Oh, boy. There's puzzles. I'm out.
Not... Okay.
I'm kidding.
That's generous. There was a part where she flipped a switch and it revealed like hidden paths that were just like... There's like almost from like another dimension.
Gotcha.
But there was a switch further on like past this like poison swamp. Did you say poison swamp?
No, Morgan, it's okay.
It's fine.
It's all right.
It's
Calm
fine.
down.
Oh, okay, sir. One of the knights is immune to that type of like poison, so she just had it like kind of walk out towards that switch and hit it for her. Little things like that. This game looks hot.
It looks good. Looks real good.
Yeah.
This was one of those things where I was like, okay, that was pretty all right.
Yeah.
This
and
is
again, I was surprised that it didn't even have a release year, considering that it's got the most gameplay out there of like any of the other stuff shown.
Hard to say. Is it being made by a Sony affiliate or anything like that, or is it
Eclipse Glow Games? I have no idea who they are.
Okay.
I'm assuming that they're either from China or South Korea, where it's like, where are you coming? Like, why does your game look this good?
Yeah.
If you haven't made a game before.
No idea. No clue. Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
Just wondered.
And then Mind's Eye was shown. This is from Build a Rocket Boy Studio, but the big name attached to it is Leslie Benzies, who was like a big wig over at Rockstar back in the GTA days.
All right.
Very pale, man. Very pale. It's interesting because when the trailer first started, I was like, is somebody making a sequel to Spec Ops: The Line?
Oh yeah, I kind of felt I was not sure where they were going. I was like, this looks weird. Like they're
because it's a soldier that's like stationed in somewhere where there's like a lot of sand and having like some PTSD type things going on, and I was like, holy shit, because I've had this thought a lot lately, which is that if Spec Ops: The Line came out now, it would be on everybody's Game of the Year lists. Because expectations of video games have changed so much.
Right.
When that game came out, people just wrote it off as like a generic third-person shooter in a sea of generic third-person shooters.
Yeah.
But it was doing so many like amazing ahead of its time things narratively.
Yes.
That the people who played it knew, but other people just didn't.
You're right.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
For sure.
Robotone was ahead of the curve. Like he was like singing the praises of that game from minute one.
Yeah.
Basically, it was funny because the way that Leslie Benzies described the game was in the near future. What was it? AI and corporate greed have brought the world to the brink of like ruin, and I'm like, that's just day-to-day life, man. That's just but it seems that like your character was implanted with something like when he was in the military that is acting up.
Yeah.
And I am hoping that I'm going to get like some cool cyberpunk powers where I'm like hacking into people's minds.
It seemed like there was some of that sort of stuff.
I hope so. And also I'm hoping that it's going to cause him to like not know what's real sometimes, right? Like have some weird hallucinations or dream sequences or stuff. To say. But the core of it is that it's open worlds in a city, like a Californian city, and so it's got like driving, it's got shooting, but it looks excellent. And I'm kind of surprised that like this was the announcement and it's coming out this summer. It's like, what?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that too. It was kind of a not much hype, but I was like, okay, yeah, no, I'll play this shit. This looks good. Yeah, I was not sure what it was for the longest time, and then I think they show like a full like cinematic trailer And then
they show a cinematic trailer. He comes out and explains more about
and
it.
he's like,
and
"Here's
then
some
they showed some more
gameplay,"
gameplay.
and then it's just a car driving. I was like, "It's a GTA game? Okay, all right, sure, why not? Let's do this."
Yeah, shades of GTA, but also shades of the original.
Yeah, GTA
Watch Dogs.
Yeah. Watch Dogs is probably the more apt comparison, really. Something like that.
Yeah.
But like just the open world car driving game, you know the one. It's that kind of game, which I'm down for something like that. That's always.
I'm
good.
hoping that the driving feels better than the last couple GTA games. I'm hoping the shooting feels better than all of the GTA games.
Yeah,
because that's always been an issue.
Probably the shooting, I almost guarantee probably will, because for whatever reason, Rockstar just never understands how to do that shit.
Yeah,
it's they're like Achilles' heel. They just cannot fucking figure out how to do that.
I thought it felt all right in Red Dead 2.
It's okay. I don't know. I liked Red Dead 2, but like it's not quite there. But it's not terrible. It was better than GTA 5. I'll give it to them for that. But like it's never quite on the scale that one of those
it's never where you want it to be.
The amount of shit and money and time that they pour into those games, the feel of the gameplay always feels like it takes a backseat at some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of a weird thing for me, but whatever. This game looks cool.
I really wish that, this is off topic a bit, but I really wish that Rockstar would revisit what they did with San Andreas with the whole like body mechanic where like depending on like what you did, your character would change. He would get either buffer or fatter or really rail thin depending on how you played that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought that was really interesting and I'm surprised they never revisited that. I think it's because now they're like, no, but this is the character you're playing.
Yes.
Like,
That's why.
Well,
but
also don't you dare take a step out of line. Like you will play this exactly how we want you to play it.
That shit's real annoying. But you know who does care about that body mechanic, Julian? So like 2 people modding Skyrim. I know 100% that is a mod that you can put in Skyrim is the weight gain and loss thing, and so there you go. If you ever want that mechanic back, Julian, it's right there.
Is there a romance visual novel mod to Skyrim?
There was a Skyrim romance, which was there's probably a few. It's not exactly a visual novel, but like there's definitely like romances.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, is there like a mod of Skyrim where it's like you're not actually traversing, you're just like kind of talking to like the actual NPCs in visual novel form, but it's still the models?
That'd be great. I'd laugh my ass off if that was the thing. There's you can definitely mod the Mass Effect camera into the game, which is funny. It's very off-putting to me because like it's not quite there. It's like jarring when it swaps to it. It's like, oh no, this needs some tweaks. But yeah. Anyway, that game looks good.
Yes, it does. And then last but not least, simply because this is like I guess, okay. I think one of the complaints that people had, I did want to talk about this before we wrapped up, is that it's like, oh, like there's not any like first party stuff. This is all third party stuff. I don't give a fucking shit, dude.
Yeah.
I love video games. I want to play video games. I don't give a goddamn if all of the games that we've talked about so far are coming out on the Xbox, PC, and the Switch 2. I just want to play some fun fucking video games that interest me. And like if other people have access to them, good. It means they'll probably sell better, and then we get more of them.
Yeah,
like, I don't know what the issue is.
Yeah, I don't either.
I do know what the issue is. And I think people have to start to grasp with the situation that the day of like the major exclusive is pretty much gone, right? Like every studio is going to have like the stuff that they make in-house that is locked, especially Nintendo, but like, even Sony, right? Like their stuff is going to be locked down until it's not.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be like on the PlayStation for like a year and a half, and then it's going to be on PC.
Yeah.
And then with Xbox, well,
They're
do think that
already
they
on
should be.
Xbox and PC, and then now it's looking more and more likely that it's going to start being on PlayStation 5 and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. But yeah,
I still feel that like they should hold it back from PlayStation a little longer. And
I could agree.
whatnot,
Yeah, do the
but,
timed exclusive thing. Why
Yeah.
not? Yeah,
but I'm sure somebody crunched the numbers. Are like, no, we're going to make a shit ton more money if we do it
probably.
this way. It's like, okay,
honestly,
fine.
honestly, that like they probably would, because there's a point where like you want the game to be out where people can buy it while people are talking about it. Because if you let that, ride for a little bit and then people forget, and then suddenly it's out on PlayStation, I guess I can play it now, but I don't really care because now I'm playing this other thing or whatever, so you don't buy it, and it's probably a whole thing. But I'd love to know. I'd love to know the actual number behind it. But
yeah. And I get it. It's like, you want to feel that like the system that you bought like has something that you can't get anywhere else to justify the purchase. But to me, it's like, well, you also bought the system because like you wanted like the next gen experience, right?
Yeah.
So like you're still getting that experience, like you're getting like the better quality of these games that, in the cases where they are coming out for both systems, and there are still a lot of them. I was glad to see that like Onimusha is PlayStation 5 exclusive. So it's what I mean is it is current gen exclusive. It's not coming to the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One.
Right.
It's like, oh, thank fuck, because I am worried that like last gen is clinging on to life way too strongly.
Yeah.
And I think it's holding a lot of shit back
for sure,
development wise. But otherwise, like, you're still getting what you paid for, right? Like it's just that maybe other people get to play the stuff on something that they preferred to play on. It's like, don't worry about them. It's fine.
Hold on. Okay, so you that all that aside, you said there was one more thing, because in my mind there's like two more things.
I was going to talk about Saros from Housemarque. Am I missing something major?
There was I cannot remember the name of this game.
Oh, you're right. There was a slightly smaller thing. Metal Eden.
Yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that game looks kind of cool.
That game does look kind of cool. It feels like a game, because it's coming out in May. I'd never heard of it until now.
Yeah.
It feels like a game that's doomed to fail simply because like I'd never heard of it, and that's a pretty short turnaround time to like build up hype for it.
Yeah.
But it looks rad.
kind of all right. Yeah.
Kind of cyberpunky with some mechs going on.
Yeah.
It's first person, and
that one
got a ripping
reminded me of
soundtrack.
Metroid Prime for some reason. I don't know what it was.
I can see it.
Yeah, like
I can see it.
But it probably isn't anything like that. The gameplay kind of reminded me of like, there was parts where it reminded me of like Doom almost, like just the pace of it.
Very, very fast paced.
Yeah, that I was like, this might be okay. It might also come out and completely tank, and everybody hates it. So who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I watching it, I was like, oh, okay, that's not too bad looking. Sure, why not?
Yeah. That's a game that I would probably wait for reviews on.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Like, I'd like to keep an eye on it.
Absolutely.
But again, May is really dense.
Seems
so
that's
way. Another reason why I worry about that particular
that
game.
way, yeah.
Yeah. Like May 30th, there's a shit ton of stuff coming out all at the same time.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the last thing that they showed was like the only like actual like first party like thing.
Yes.
Which is Saros from Housemarque, which is not a sequel to Returnal, but it is in the vein of Returnal,
Pretty much.
which I found very interesting.
It's a Returnal, yeah.
Yeah. And ironically, at the end of a showcase that was almost all gameplay, like trailers, this is the one where it's like, no, this is just a CG.
Yeah.
This is just a cinematic. It's a good tone piece. Like it's a
for sure. Yeah.
I like the design because like it's like a dude that wakes up on like a beach on some like foreign planet, and his armor design is good. I like the look of the rifle he's holding, and then this like huge like alien god looking thing comes out of this water with an eclipse behind it.
Yeah.
And it's got multiple arms with all these fireballs that it's prepping, and I was like, that looks cool.
Yeah.
And this one is confirmed to be 2026, so that's why there's no gameplay yet. But
did you ever play Returnal?
I didn't.
Okay.
And it's weird because like, I've had the PlayStation 5 since launch.
Yeah.
And Returnal was like a major release, and I just
like
never got around to picking it up.
It was a big deal. I'm surprised you. Now, the more I thought about it, I was like, I don't think he ever did, actually.
No.
Yeah.
And I think it scared me off was kind of the main thing.
Yeah,
Is
I
like,
can see that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I've heard it's like the best use of the DualSense outside of the Astrobot games.
I have also heard this. Yes.
Yeah. I would like to play it eventually.
Yeah, you might as well give it a shot.
Yeah, but if not, I might check this one out when it comes out.
Yeah, there you go.
Because at least the main character's not a girl.
There you
know
go.
What I'm saying?
You tell them.
Yeah. Oh wait, but it's not a white guy. I don't know how to feel about this.
That's true.
Yeah. No, it looks like as a tone setter.
Yeah.
Very cool tone.
For sure.
I like what it was trying to get out there. You know, I definitely want to see more, but that's 2026. 2025 is looking insane now. Between the stuff that Sony has prepped, the stuff that Xbox has prepped, to say nothing of like what Switch 2 is going to bring to the table as far as like what their launch lineup looks like.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hell of a year. I'm excited.
Yeah, it seems good. Could be very good. I agree. Well, that's the PlayStation thing, huh?
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah, I was going to answer some comments, questions, and concerns unless you had something else, Justin. You seemed like you had an idea.
Oh no,
percolating.
I was going to ask if before we do that, if we could take a short break.
We can absolutely take a short break.
Okay, let's take a short break and then be right back to answer questions. I guess I don't know. I'm saying all this like it might go into the recording. Who knows? I don't know. Now it will.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to take a short break. All right.
All right.
Well, now that he's gone, we can really wrap. I wasn't going to do this, but he's been gone for a really long time. You're not going to notice it in the edit because I'll just cut out all of that dead air, but I've been sitting here for a while and I'm bored. I checked various podcast things just to make sure that we didn't get a review that we need to read on the air. I texted a friend and checked our Discord. I finished my Coke. I don't really know what to do with myself. How are you doing? Oh, it's good to hear. Is it more or less parasocial if I just talk to you like you're actually like conversing with me and then respond? Does it make it weirder? Oh, he's back. Okay, we'll circle back to this later. Just shut up. Don't let him know. And we're back.
Okay.
And I thought we would close things out as we usually do with comments, questions, and concerns, or a little CQC.
Okay.
There's a lot of ways to get at us for your comments, questions, and concerns. You can email us. The email address is thestageselectpod@gmail.com. If you have a Patreon account, you can go to the episodes and make a comment there, and we'll get to those. That's also if you're on the free tier or whatever. When the show goes open to the public on Wednesdays, I go back to the Patreon version and unlock it so that anybody can comment on it and whatnot.
There you go.
You can join our Discord. The link is in our link tree. But yeah, we'll go ahead and start off with just a comment from the last episode on Patreon from Big Baker.
Okay.
Who says, a favorite comeback for the trolls. I hope you have the day you deserve, which is in response to your YouTube comment.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Have to say, Justin, I did look that guy up, and he looks exactly how you described.
No, I know.
Like,
I know. It's not an exaggeration. Yeah.
It was not. No.
No. Yeah. It's immediately like, oh, this guy fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Not much more to say about that. It's just very
really,
weird.
There really isn't. But, you know, that's the internet for you. What are you going to do?
People are weird, man.
It's fun sometimes. Like I said, old me would have went to war and it would have been great. But those days are done for me.
Yes. You're like Hattori Hanzo, like vowing to never make another weapon of war.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, we'll head back over to the Discord and continue with Xavier's questions that were intended for the Patreon special. If you had to actively listen to one album, no skips, on repeat for 72 straight hours, what album would you choose?
Album on repeat with no skips. And for how many hours?
72.
Oh. Ooh. That's tough.
I could cheat and say the Final Fantasy 16 soundtrack, because I think it's like 6 discs.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to that whole album on repeat, you're still, you've got like a 6-hour rotation going.
Very true. Yeah.
But I think that is cheating.
A little bit, but
yeah.
At the same time. Oh, man. If I'm going to pick an actual album that I really like, man, that's tough. That's really tough, actually. I'm trying to think now. Because usually what I end up doing, especially at work these days, is I will just pick a band and just listen to their whole discography or whatever I have of them.
Mm-hmm.
So one album is really hard because there's a lot of Incubus albums that I'm like, maybe that, but I don't know. Especially
Incubus seems like a band that you would fucking hate.
They do, but they're the one good stoner band. They're the only one. I'll defend Incubus. They're actually
I like Incubus.
Yeah, they're actually
surprised.
Great. They're actually really great. I know. I think it was. I think I was talking about them on stream one time, and I think it was one that 60 Does Stuff was on, and he was like, I don't like Incubus. And I was like, listen, they're actually pretty good. Okay, they're actually pretty good. There is definitely some stuff in their stuff that is of its time, but look, but I like it was one of the, it's kind of a time and place thing as well, because I was a stoner at that time when it came out, so sure. But Make Yourself, very good album.
Yeah,
very good album. I don't know if that's what I would pick though.
Yeah, so my thing is the repetition, because I was going to say my favorite Faded Fantasy by Damien Rice, but now that I'm looking at the album, it's only 8 tracks and 51 minutes.
Right.
So I feel that I would be fine, but I would want something that has like a little bit more diversity to it or like length.
Right.
So I'm thinking actually it might be Endless Form's Most Beautiful by Nightwish, which is an hour and 19 minutes, and it takes you on a journey.
Yeah.
And the songs are also so varied that I think I would be good with that one, with a runner-up being Imaginarium from Nightwish.
Okay. I'm actually, I think I might lean towards Coheed in this case, actually.
That makes sense.
And I think it would probably be for me, let's see, probably In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3. That's probably the one. That one I can listen to that album like front to back and be pretty happy with it. And even repeating itself, like I'd have a good time. The fun part of that album is if you can't skip it, there's a large portion where they just put a bunch of blank tracks in, so it just goes silent for a while and then plays the bonus track, and then it would repeat again. So that would be kind of entertaining to me every time it happened.
A little bit of a reprieve.
Yeah, you get a little bit of a break, and you'd be like, oh, it's quiet, and then yeah, that'd be good. Okay, I'll go with that. That's with more time and prep, I might have a different answer, but I honestly, that's probably where I'd lean towards.
Yeah,
it's silly and stupid sometimes, the Coheed stuff, but I love it.
There you go. Xavier continues, what IP that does not have a game in the past 20 years would you most like to see brought into modern gaming? Note, it could have had any game attached to it, or it could have had one or it could never have had any game attached to it, or it could have had one pre-2004. So either something that's never had a game or something that's at least hasn't had anything come out in 20 years.
Okay. So any IP though?
Provided that it hasn't had a game come out since like
Oh, so for a long,
2004.
long time.
Yeah.
Oh, I have an easy answer for this. It is I bring back Mendel Palace. Bring it back. It'll be
Really?
great. Yeah, why not? Game Freak did it. The Pokemon people, let them do something fucking different. That game is actually cool and is holds up better than people think. If you never played Mendel Palace, go check it out. It's actually really dope. It's an old NES game. Like I said, made by Game Freak. I think it might have been like their first game or very early on in the Game Freak lineup. You can definitely see like where their design sensibilities started from, because like all the like enemy characters have like, especially the swimmers, have like basically the designs that show up as like trainers in Pokemon. Like that art style is there. And it's really neat. But the concept is very simple. It's like basically just kind of like almost an arcade game for the most part, where you're just like, you just flip tiles and flip guys into walls, and if they go into the wall, they blow up, and you just have to clear the room. It's very simple, very, very pick up and play. Like it, to the point where I was actually like, I was watching Gersman. He's been ranking all the NES games or whatever, and he played that one. I was like, oh boy, he's gonna hate it. And he was like, this is actually really cool. And I was like, oh, thank God. Oh, this is good. All right. Yeah, and it ranked higher than I thought. I was like, "That's perfect." It's definitely not better than Double Dragon 2, but hey, that it's in the running. That's good. I'm happy with that. Yeah,
interesting.
But yeah, it's a great game.
That's something that I actually have never touched.
Yeah, you should try it. It's really cool, really interesting for the most part. I mean, you're not probably going to sit there and play it all day or anything like that, but it's really neat to actually touch. And I think if you brought, because I've never seen that concept since, so I think it'd be like a really cool thing to like expand on, and try again. But like, again, it's an arcade game, so I doubt it would ever get it won't ever get anything. There's no, I'm the only one clamoring for a Mendel Palace follow up, but
right,
that's my answer.
Cool. Yeah, so there's like a handful of books that I've always wanted to see adapted into a video game. And I know I've told you this one before, but that was on the old show. But I would love to see a video game adaptation of John Ringo's Council Wars series.
Okay.
The first book is called There Will Be Dragons. And so the elevator pitch is that it's in the far-flung future where the internet basically provides everything that people could possibly want. Mm-hmm. So like everything's taken care of. Like you don't have to worry about food. You don't have to worry about shelter. You don't have to worry about really anything. And also the tech has gotten to a point where like, do you want to be a dragon? You can be a dragon. Do you want to be a mermaid and live in the water? You can do that too.
Okay.
Do you want to be an elf? You can be an elf. You can basically just like character create yourself.
Cool.
And have that happen. But the council who is in charge of Mother, the AI that takes care of all of this stuff, falls into civil war, and the net shuts off, which immediately plunges society into chaos because like dragons fall out of the sky, like, you know, like the mer people are basically like stuck that way, so like they can't leave. But like also like all of these people who have not had to worry about anything now have to learn how to live. And the people who end up coming in to save the day are the reenactors, who are basically just like Ren Fair people that continue to live in the old style,
okay,
like day to day.
Yeah.
And because of the way that Mother, the AI, is structured, they can't have gunpowder. So all of the warfare is done with like pre-gunpowder age. But like one of the main characters he studied up on like military history over the years. So even though they're fighting with like swords and shields and stuff like that, the military tactics are coming from stuff that happened down the road.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool, interesting world. And like later on, they build like a dragon aircraft carrier which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a big old ship that has like a runway for dragons to take off
Right.
of. It's cool.
That sounds cool.
It's got some really neat stuff
That
going
does
on
sound
in there.
pretty neat. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of a combination of like sci-fi fantasy that I always kind of find interesting when you can pull it off, right?
Yeah, because like you'll have stuff like, you know, people that are training in like swords and fighting and stuff like that. But then like one of the main characters, Bass, is an elf, and the way the elves work is that they're just people who committed to being elves for a really long time, and they didn't change into anything else, and so they've kind of splintered off into their own society. And so she's like very much like a sword and sorcery type character. But then there's a character that's literally like a mascot from like he's like a cartoon bunny from like some bygone era, and
Okay.
he's got like all these guns and shit like that, and like they send him on a night mission onto like an enemy ship, and he like by the morning like everybody on the ship is dead.
Nice.
Like, you don't fuck with this bunny.
Okay.
Like it's got a lot of stuff going on, but it's a really cool, interesting world.
Right.
That I would love to see in video game form.
Yeah, that sounds neat. It sounds like there's a lot of potential.
Yeah. What household chore do you hate the most?
Ooh.
All of them.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do them.
They're all pretty bad.
Yeah.
Dishes
is probably my least favorite one.
That was the first one that came to mind for me. Yeah, I do not like that.
Because I also hate laundry, but I can let laundry go for a really long time because I've got a lot of clothes, and also I live by myself, so I don't mind, you know, I'll wear the same thing for like a week before I switch clothes. I'll just change like underwear and stuff.
Yeah.
But the dishes it's like it gets grody if you leave that sitting in the sink too long.
It's real bad. You kind of got to do it. Yeah, it's not great.
And the times when executive dysfunction hits really hard, and then I go to take care of it, it's like, oh God,
yeah.
How do I live like this?
I don't mind laundry. I'll do some fucking laundry. I don't give a shit about that.
I don't like putting the laundry away.
Yeah, I don't even mind that. I don't put it away. I just see. Here's what I do. I just put it back in the hamper and then just leave it go. And then I fold it. Obviously, you fold it, but that.
Oh well, no, that's what I mean. I like if I'm gonna fold it, I may as well put it away. I don't like folding.
See,
laundry.
yeah, I'll fold it. I don't mind.
What I've been doing since like a lot lately, especially like post 2020, is we're just gonna like put all the t-shirts out on the bed flat, and then I'll just pull from the stack as I need.
Okay.
Because like no one else is sleeping on that bed. I've got a queen size bed, and so the way that I sleep is like I sleep as if I'm still on a twin.
Okay.
So like I'm only taking up like a very small sliver of the bed.
Sure.
So there's plenty of room for shit.
Sure. That makes I can see it. Yeah. My dogs usually
don't
get
live
together.
like me.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like people should do that.
No.
No, my dogs usually have the other side of the bed. They sneak up while I'm sleeping, and then I wake up and there's dogs there, and then I roll over and try not to crush them. It's a whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Baltar sleeps with me all night, but like he doesn't take up much space either.
Right. He probably he'll sleep on the clothes, I'm guessing.
No, actually.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, surprisingly
good for him.
Yeah. Do you believe in any kind of cryptid or cryptid adjacent creature, i.e., aliens, ghosts?
I don't know. Complicated question. I don't believe in a lot of them. I believe aliens are possible. Sure. I feel like you'd be foolish not to believe that there could be other life forms in the universe somewhere, right?
Yeah, I feel it's likely.
Yeah, highly likely, right?
Yeah.
But as far as them getting to the Earth, I don't know.
I feel like probably not.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, never rule it out, but hard to say.
I believe that the Loch Ness Monster was a thing. Like, I don't think it's there anymore, but I think that there was something in that loch that was.
It's possible.
Like, different.
Yeah, I see. When it comes to things like that, I'm constantly like, Yeah, I don't know. I feel like people just saw something and they're like, and they wanted to believe. It's the same thing I had with ghosts, where if you want to believe in ghosts hard enough, you'll do it. Like if you want to see a ghost, you'll see a ghost. Like if you get it in your head that there's something in there's something in there, and you will see the smallest thing and be like, there it was. Did you see it? Like, and it's just a thing in human nature, I believe.
I am a big fan of the unexplainable though. So like I really get into like paranormal like podcasts or shows or
it's fascinating. Absolutely. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, like I don't think a lot of that stuff is true. Aliens may be the one where I'm like, yeah, no, I can buy it. But yeah.
And I think most of the stuff that you know is like, whoa, what the fuck was that? Like can be explained. Right, like we may not have like the science to explain it at the moment, right. But there's a scientific explanation.
Generally speaking, yes, and I think the human imagination is a powerful thing, and that is where I will leave it there.
Yes.
What else we got?
All right. Let's see. We did those. David Portnov says. This is a funny one for you, Justin.
Oh, boy.
What books would you recommend in any genre? What comes to mind first?
Oh, boy.
Any genre, though. So, you know, if you want to throw out a graphic novel.
Okay. Oh, man. All of the ones that I like were written by terrible fucking people now. So it's ruined.
Justin's like,
God damn it.
What was it? Sandman, no, Harry Potter.
I never liked Harry Potter.
Ender's Game.
That one was, oh God, yeah, I read that too.
What was the L. Ron Hubbard one? No.
Oh yeah,
I'm just kidding.
No, I remember being a big fan of was it Transmetropolitan, and that guy was terrible.
Who was that?
I forget. Let me look. Now we're in this rabbit hole, and I gotta know. Then comic book series. Who wrote this bullshit? Warren Ellis.
Oh yeah, I've heard bad stuff.
Yeah,
about
not
him.
Great, according to many sources.
He's the one who did The Boys, right?
No, that is Garth Ennis, and strangely enough, have not heard anything bad about Garth Ennis, and I keep waiting for that. But maybe there's something bad.
He created The Boys, so I'm assuming that he's a bad person because that
a lot of really fucking kind of rancid stuff. But like at the same time, he did Comics Punisher. He did The Boys, Crossed, which was that's one of the hardest things I've ever read, but I did read it. God, what else? Oh yeah, book recommendations. Great. I don't fucking know, man. Read the Goosebumps series. I'm sorry, Julian. Stop everything. I'm sorry.
Like hit stop on the recording?
No. Don't keep recording. Stop. We have to take a break for a second. I'm sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, we record on Fridays.
Yes.
On the East Coast, where my time is located, it is now 12 o'clock midnight, which means it is officially Skasturday.
I hate you so much.
What? It's Skasturday, Julian. On Skasturday, we listen to ska.
That's the dumbest fucking thing you've come up with on this show.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I'm just announcing it's Skasturday. I don't understand.
You just spin a whole episode railing against puns, and then you lay this shit in my lap.
What do you mean? It's Skasturday, Julian. On Skasturday, we listen to ska. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I listen to No Doubt? Like old No Doubt?
Yeah, I mean, it's ska. Sure, why not?
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. Do your thing.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Throw in play Street Skater on the PlayStation 1.
You could do that. You could do it. Absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, books. I don't know. what books have I read? I don't know. Berserk seems pretty good so far from what I've read. I've been liking the Street Fighter comics. They're not like super amazing or anything, but they're kind of a fun read. Those, I don't know.
I'll throw out one that I thought of like immediately, which was the Malorian, or sorry, the Belgariad, and then the Malorian. The Belgariad comes first, but those are from David and Lee Eddings. Although apparently, they weren't really good people either. Now that I think about it,
Dude, yeah,
apparently
I know.
they did some
It
shit.
sucks.
But I looked at my shelf just now, and I haven't read the second book, but actually, let me look at. I don't remember which one is first. So hold on.
Okay. Julian's looking at his shelf. There's books there. He's pulling books off the shelf. Here come
Okay,
books.
yeah. So the first book is called. These are both from Piers Anthony, who wrote the Xanth series, but he also had the series. It's just a 2-book series, Isle of Woman and Isle of Man, or sorry, Shame of Man. It's an interesting like not fantasy, but it's like a fictional history of like the world. Like
Yeah.
it starts with like prehistoric time, and basically it's the story of like this couple that's constantly like reincarnated that gets separated at the beginning of the story, and they keep finding each other.
Yeah.
Like as civilization evolves. It's very interesting.
Okay.
And I'm looking, I really want to read the second one. I haven't gotten around to it.
Oh, there you go.
He wasn't all about puns and ladies' panties.
That's good.
He had other stuff
That's
going
good.
on.
That's good.
Yeah.
He
Although he did write a book that I want to track down called Pornucopia, which is about a guy who has like a magic penis that is like replaceable with different like
why not?
things.
You know, why not?
Yeah, I want to see what that's all about.
Oh God, I remember. This might have been Warren Ellis as well. Oh God, I remember a long time ago. I bought a random visual novel at what was that place called? It wasn't. I think it was called Borders. Or was Borders
is
a
a
thing?
bookstore?
Yeah, the bookstore. Yeah, it's not here anymore.
I don't think Borders is in business anymore.
Oh no, this was Grant Morrison. It was called The Filth. And it involved I don't know anything about Grant Morrison, but I don't need.
He's super weird.
Yeah.
His books are super
Oh,
weird.
this one was weird.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. So the one of the characters in it, how do I explain this? He was like he was a dude. It was a guy. I know that sounds stupid, but it's very important. He was like the guy, like the
guy.
I don't know how to explain this. I'm trying. So he was.
I don't. It would be hard to be the guy.
His thing was he basically like emitted pheromones that would like make him like attractive as hell to everyone, and his semen was black because he was super potent. That's how potent he was. And I remember, this is the one thing that I always remember from this fucking thing. It was, what a dumb fucking read, but it was entertaining.
See, the problem with that is that, like, okay, so you can attract anybody that you get, but the second that you bust on them, they're going to freak the fuck out with black semen. They're going to be like, what is wrong with you? What do I have now?
No, they didn't, because they didn't care about that, because that's where that came from. So that's what they were into.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know how to again, it's very complicated. You have to read The Filth. There's my stupid book. That you can go read that weirdo shit. It was weird.
I played porn games with better setups than that.
There was more to it. I can't remember the exact thing. I think if I remember right, he was like an antagonist, and the concept was they were trying to get rid of things in the world that shouldn't exist or something like that, and that was one of them. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I read that. Yeah, these are random things that I just buy for no reason. Like, what's this stupid thing? I don't know.
Okay, this will be interesting one. We'll close with this one because
Okay,
it
sure.
could be a lengthy one.
All right.
60x Self says your favorite game for each console. Go. Doesn't have to be an exclusive, just something you played or associate with that console.
Oh man.
There's a lot of consoles out there, 60.
Yeah.
So 2600 is Berserk.
2600?
Original Nintendo is Mega Man 2. Super Nintendo, Super Metroid.
I have to look up a list of consoles because I'm not gonna remember.
I can do it from memory. N64.
I know you can.
N64 is Mario 64. PlayStation is Metal Gear Solid. PlayStation 2 is probably Silent Hill 3. Maybe Final Fantasy 10, one of those two.
Sure.
Xbox 360. Ooh, that's a good question, actually. Xbox 360. There's so many games I love on that. Oh, no, what am I talking about? It's fucking Mass Effect.
Oh, yeah.
Duh.
Of course.
PlayStation 3 is Metal Gear Solid 4. These are the ones that I owned.
Yeah.
I skipped GameCube. Sorry. GameCube is Eternal Darkness.
Right.
Let's see. PlayStation 4 is Death Stranding.
Okay. Yeah.
Xbox One, I'm not sure if I have like an exclusive on there that, you know, or even, it doesn't have to be exclusive, but like,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I have anything that I associate with Xbox One because that was such a like, you know,
Yeah, sure.
like bad time for Xbox.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Wii is Dead Space Extraction, probably. I don't think I have one for the Wii U because I barely played my Wii U.
Yeah.
Switch is Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Yeah.
Um,
Surprising.
Not really. Not when you think about how little I played on the Switch.
Well, I mean, there's also Mario Odyssey and stuff.
Yeah, but
Would you rank that above it? No.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I think that's probably where I'll cut it off because like PlayStation 5 and
it's still ongoing. Yeah, it's hard to say. All right, NES.
And those of the ones that I owned, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, of the ones I've owned.
Although technically I didn't own a 2600.
I was gonna say there's some that I probably have favorite games on that I played at other places that I'm just gonna say anyway. NES was probably what is my favorite? To me, the most memories come from like Maniac Mansion. So I'm gonna say that. As much as that's not actually a Nintendo NES game, I don't care.
No, it 100% is to me.
Yeah, to me it is too. But like,
Yeah.
it's apparently it's more of a what's the one system that the keyboard? It's basically a computer fucking thing that I can't remember. Commodore 64.
The Commodore?
Yes, that's the one. I've thought of it afterwards. Oh, let's see. Genesis.
I forgot about all the Sega ones. So Genesis is Streets of Rage 2.
That was mine. Yeah, Streets of Rage 2, 100%.
Saturn is Guardian Heroes.
Yeah, for me it's probably Virtua Fighter 2.
There you go. Dreamcast is Shenmue.
For me, Soul Calibur, 100%.
Yeah, that's true.
Soul Calibur. I played
Soul Calibur is really
of Soul Calibur.
Yeah, I did too, but I have I have a big soft spot for Shenmue.
I don't. I do not.
You're not looking for some sailors, Justin?
I did. I played that a whole game, and I remember getting to the end and being like, "That's it. All right. Well, that kind of sucked."
Do you want to play a game of Lucky Hit?
I don't want to play any of that shit. It was not a good video game.
Oh, hush.
Had some really great ideas.
Yeah.
Really good ideas. Not a good video game. Anyway, I played a lot of Neo Geo on my modded Xbox. And I would say, what is my favorite Neo Geo game is Neo Turf Masters, 100%.
Magician Lord.
Super NES. Ooh, that's tough. As dumb as it's gonna sound, probably my favorite Super NES game is Tecmo Super Bowl. I fucking love that game. I can still go back and play that and have a great time. What else? PlayStation 1 as Final Fantasy 7.
Figured.
PlayStation 2. That's kind of tough, actually.
It's my favorite console, so it's really hard to pick just one.
it's not my favorite, but it's a very good one. There's a lot of shit on it.
Yeah.
Let me come back to that. Let's see. I said Saturn. Nintendo 64. I am partial to Nintendo 64. What does come to mind there? Oh man.
My runner-up was Beetle Adventure Racing after Mario 64.
After Mario 64?
Yeah.
Man, I
fucking love Beetle Adventure Racing.
I have such a turn off from Nintendo at this point.
Oh no, yeah, me too.
Yeah, Nintendo 64 was kind of the one that bummed me out the most. But the game I probably had of course, WWF No Mercy. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. As soon as I thought of it, yeah, of course, that's what it is. Man, let's see. GameCube I didn't own, but we did play a lot of Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing was a game in our little circle of people, where my friend sent everyone trash, along with letters about how much he hates them. It was great. It was really great. Original Xbox, probably Halo.
I didn't own that, but it would be Buffy the Vampire Slayer for me.
Yeah, I did own that. It's probably Halo 2. Halo 2 was great. Especially we had a lot of like LAN parties and shit for that. Oh, what else we got? Xbox 360.
My second favorite console.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Mass Effect for me. Might be. It's either Mass Effect or I dare not say Skyrim, because I really didn't get that into Skyrim until later.
Yeah, I feel like Skyrim is a PC game for you.
Yeah, like that like I liked it. I remember really liking it, but not liking it. In fact, I actually kind of remember being a bit disappointed by it. I would actually Xbox 360 Oblivion is actually probably the big one for me, because I played a lot of Oblivion. In fact, I needed to own an Xbox 360 because of Oblivion.
Yeah, that's what sold me on the Xbox was the previews of Oblivion.
I did not own a PlayStation 3.
Really?
No, I never owned one. I knew people that owned them, so I mean that's how I mess with Metal Gear Solid 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'd say that. But yeah, never owned one myself. I was poor.
You were supposed to take out 2 jobs, Justin.
Yeah,
that's how
I know.
Supposed to fund it.
I was poor.
Why didn't you do that? That's what Kaz said to do.
Because they weren't hiring because Bush was in office. Let's see. The Wii, none of them. They're all garbage. I don't like the Wii. I hate it. I can't.
I get it.
I can't even think of like a game that oh no, Wii Sports, sure, that was fine. That was fine. That was the only one anybody wanted to play anyway. I'm still trying to think of a PlayStation 2 game that I would say is the definitive PlayStation 2 game for me. That's really hard. Man,
there's a lot of great stuff on it.
I know. It's really tough. I'm like very torn on it. I'm just gonna keep moving on. Fuck it. PlayStation 4. What was my favorite PlayStation 4 game?
Disco Elysium?
That's not a PlayStation 4 game. That's a PC game to me. For me, that's what I played it on. Because when it first came out, that's all it was on.
You're right. Yeah. I played it on PlayStation 4.
Yes, you did. PlayStation 4. What is the game that I... Oh,
Witcher?
Actually, Witcher 3. Yeah. That was that for sure. Xbox One. Actually, Fallout 4 is the one I associate with Xbox One. As weird as that might sound, because I when that game came out originally, I played it on PlayStation, and I remember being like, yeah, it's okay, I guess. That was kind of my underwhelmed response. But when I got an Xbox, when the modding thing came out for consoles, that's when I was like, okay, now I want to play Fallout 4 on a console with mods on it.
I thought of the one that I associate with Xbox One the most.
Okay.
Diablo 3.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Absolutely. PlayStation 2. Trying to think of a game that I fucking played the shit out of on PlayStation 2.
SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain.
I played probably all of those.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's such a long fucking span of time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. I almost want to get a fucking list of PlayStation 2 games, but then we'd be out here all fucking day.
List, you say?
Yeah. We did that one, didn't we?
We didn't do... Whoa.
Did we do PlayStation 2? I feel like we did.
We did do PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Because I think Xbox 360 was going to be the next one that I had the idea of doing.
God, I feel. Oh, okay, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's Grand Theft Auto Vice City, of course. Duh. Yeah.
Duh.
As soon as all I needed to see was like, I just typed in games and there was a picture. I was like, oh, of course, yeah. It wasn't even Vice City. I was like, yeah, Grand Theft Auto, of course, it was Vice City. That God, we played so much of that game. It was nuts. Yeah, for sure. Am I missing any consoles, Julian? I can't remember.
I'm sure we're missing one or two here or there, but
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, if we want to go into the Game Boy and stuff.
Now consoles, those are handhelds.
Yeah, that's true. That's another question. There you go.
Yes. All right. I think that's a show, Justin.
I think we did it, Julian.
Yeah.
We kicked off Skasturday right.
We sure did. That's the thing that we did. Real proud of it.
See, that's the joke. Is it's so bad that it's amazing.
When I do ones that are so bad it's amazing, you still are just like dead inside.
That's so what makes it funny.
Yeah.
See? So we're doing it right. You're selling the bit correctly. It's great.
You can find us online. You know where to go. It's also in the link tree. So
yeah, just you can look and read and do that way.
Yes. Thanks as always to the wonderful Megan McDuffie for our theme song and interstitial tracks. Thanks to friend of the show, John Gholson, for being our announcer and providing us with our logo. But that is going to do it for this edition of the Stage Select. I've been Julian Titus. He's been Justin Ham. We've been the Stage Select. Signing off.
Uh-huh.
All right. God damn it.
I like how I just cut it off. That's my favorite part of that.